You got it locked on Roadium Radio.
Hey Tony, drop that. What bass?
I bet. Dr. Dre in the place to be. Co-rockin' shit with my homeboy Steve. After Roadium, get stupid some. Yo, don't think that you can get none of Dre. The motherfucking doctor, the bitch hopper, the sucker motherfucking stopper. I'm fucked up, so don't mind what I'm saying. I'm just kicking it. But Steve, Tony, A.A, Susan, yo, we be choosing dope shit to put in a mix. Know what I'm saying? We kick shit like and that's a fact. And if your shit ain't in a mix, you know it's whack. And that ain't no bullshit. I'm kicking facts on a serious tip. Word up, Dr. Dre's in full effect doing serious damage, boy.
Tony A! Tony A! When you're ready, go.
Welcome back, everyone, to Rodeium Radio episode 180. Only 20 more episodes, and we have reached episode 200. This is going by way, way too fast. I didn't expect to be here, but I want to thank everybody who's subscribed, everybody who's tuned in, everybody who's liked, commented, shared, disliked. It doesn't matter. You guys are still watching. So I want to thank you guys for making Rodeium Radio possible. This is the platform for you. You have a voice here. So you know what? I like to give everybody an opportunity to let their voice be heard, to showcase their talent, to promote their records. That's why many times you see many artists come back once or twice or 3 times. But continue to submit your music. I know somebody said, hey, man, I submitted my music 2 years ago. Well, we haven't been here 2 years. Okay, so I know that's not true. So if September 11th, it will be 2 years. So you could tell me that then. Until then, continue to submit your music at rodiumradio@gmail.com. And allow me to remind you that this Friday, Freaky Tales. But before Freaky Tales, I will be here Tuesday, Wednesday, once again with special guests, and then Friday. So other than that, oh yeah, another update on Mr. D's first meet and greet. I should have more details on that tomorrow, so I will announce them on Tuesday. This will be his first meet and greet where you'll be able to buy his music and his merch, his poster, his glossy, whatever. For those of you that haven't seen his video, just come to this Rodeium Radio page and you should be able to watch Mr. D, the introduction. And it's actually those songs are full songs, but we just chose to do one verse for the video. So without further ado, please allow me to introduce all the way from Brooklyn, New York, none other than Jay Bliss.
Yo, what's good? What's good? Thank you for having me, Tony. I appreciate the invitation, man.
But you know what? I'm glad that you came. You know, you were supposed to be here, was about a month ago?
Yeah. I was here last time in March. We
Right.
showing some videos and stuff. So, yeah, I think it was for your birthday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're always staying busy. I like that.
Have to, bro. It's the only way to really, like, get out there. You got to be consistent. You feel me? You never know who's watching.
Exactly, man.
Absolutely.
So you know what? So you are originally from Brooklyn. Is that where you're from?
Yeah. I was born and raised. Born in Brooklyn Hospital. My parents are from Ecuador. You
Okay.
feel me? They immigrated over to New York. They met each other in New York, and that's how it happened. So, you know, born and raised in Brooklyn, and, you know.
Now, the last time you were here in March, was this the first time you had ever came to LA?
Yeah, I never stepped foot in LA until last March, like for real. And I was like, fuck it, we got to do it. You know why? Because there's some artists out here that are really, really, really nice, and I gotta do a song with them before they blow up, and I can't reach them no more. Because I manage myself, I'll do everything myself. You feel me? So
yeah,
it's different when a manager's like, hey, I want you to work with my artist. Like, all right. But it's different when I'm like, hey, I'm an artist, I want to work with you. It's like they look at you like, I don't know. So I'm like, nah, we got to get it right on time because I know this person's going to blow up. I know that person's going to blow up, and we got to do it now.
I know you did a song with, and before we get too much into your music,
Yeah.
but just to kind of give them recognition, you did a song with Drea.
Hell yeah, Drea's dope.
And then you did a song with Bella.
Yeah, we did them. I did them back to back, one on Saturday, one on Sunday.
That's dope. And you know Erica, Bella's manager.
Yeah, of course, bro. She's the one that put me on, like, for
That's
real.
right.
She definitely looked out for me, showed a lot of love. She got me on here. So, yo, thank you, Erica, if you're watching. I appreciate you.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Now, let me ask you this. When you came out here for the first time in March, How was it for you, man? Like, was it culture shock for you? Because I know you were born and raised in Brooklyn.
Right.
But you come out here, you witness all this LA smog and traffic.
Right.
The weather's beautiful.
Right.
What did you think of LA when you got here?
I feel like the traffic, everybody's like, yo, LA traffic is crazy. I don't really trip because it's like, for me to get from like Brooklyn to the other side of Brooklyn, that would take me an hour and a half just in traffic. And that's like 6 miles. So I'm like,
Wow.
that's crazy. So I'm used to that. That's nothing. I'm like, that's fine.
Okay.
So go from Brooklyn to the Bronx, that's a long trip. Even in train is like an hour and a half. You know what I mean? On a bad day when there's like a lot of people. So I ain't trip off that. I was just like, dude, it's beautiful out here. The weather's nice. The girls are pretty, you know what I mean? It was crazy. I came out here with my boys. They're like, yo, we ain't see one ugly chick out here yet. I'm like, that's LA, bro. I'm telling you. And then we ain't gonna talk about like the dispensaries because
Right.
that was shocking. I'm like, damn, I got this much good stuff. Because in New York, we got that stuff, but it's gonna be double, triple the price.
Why is that?
Because you got to bring it over there from over here.
Yeah.
Especially if you want the real shit. A lot of people try to fabricate and make like the fake cookies bags and all that. And they try to sell it for whatever price. But nah, if it's the real thing, you're going to have to pay for that. You know? But so every now and then, you know, you get the real thing. And it's like, all right, that's dope. But coming out here is like, all right, I don't need him no more. I know exactly what's what. So
I saw with Dre, I believe you filmed a video at Venice Beach, huh?
Yeah. We did a song called Full Clip. It was Full Clip, and it was a little different. You feel me? Because when I make a song with an artist from LA, I definitely try to like cater to them.
Yeah.
You feel me? Because I'm from New York, I have a different sound. Out there, we listening to drill and trap and you know a lot of stuff like that, reggaeton. And I know out here in Cali is a different sound. Like you guys really fuck with lyrics and you know like classic hip hop, like bars and I love the culture out here, bro. It's so dope. So just like watching different artists, I peeped that and I saw that and I'm like, damn, that's sick. I really like that because I grew up like on 90s hip hop. You know what I mean? Like since I was a kid, my older sister, she was 10 years older than me. So they only let her go out with me. It's like, all right, you want to go outside with your friends? You're 16, go with your 6-year-old brother, take him. So we outside on the stoop and they playing Biggie, they playing Tupac, you feel me? Bone Thugs, they playing all that stuff. You know what I mean? Whatever was popping, Mobb Deep, Nas. So I had like a big catalog, you know what I mean? Like in my head of what I liked and what I heard. But at that time, you could only hear the songs on the radio.
Right.
So there's no YouTube, there's no internet. How do you hear those songs? You got to get the tapes. But that was the time when they were transitioning into CDs.
Right.
So then I'm like, all right, so this is the Ave. And I'm like, oh, they got the bootleg CDs. Okay. So that's when you get like the Hot 97 mixtapes. And it's like the 10 hottest songs on the radio. You can play whenever you want. You feel me? So I was like, I just buy them every time I could. You feel me?
Wow. You know what? I usually like to recommend the audience something nice to watch on TV because whenever I do try to make time, like whenever I do have time to watch something, lately obviously it's just been like Netflix. Okay.
Right.
But I'm going to recommend something if you haven't seen it already.
I probably saw it. Tell me right now, what is it?
Okay. This is Pop.
Oh, no, I didn't. I thought he was going to say Lowrider. Have you seen that?
No.
Dude, that was fire.
Okay, see, honestly, I live here, and yet I never seen that movie. Now, doesn't mean that I don't want to.
Yeah.
I just haven't really had time to watch a full movie.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what I do make time for. I watch a lot of documentaries.
Yeah, that's dope.
This is Pop. I would recommend to anybody in this music industry. Episode 1, just to give, just a little taste. Episode 1, it talks about boy bands,
Right.
like Boys to Men, and it talks about New Edition. It talks about Backstreet Boys, that stuff in the 90s.
Right.
And it talks about how Boys to Men kind of like broke ground and how after that, everybody kind of copied them.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that, but I think you guys will get more of an interesting story if you guys see it without me giving it away. Episode 2, all they talk about is auto-tone.
For real?
Yes. They interview this one guy and he says, you mean so somebody could sing out of tone and you sing into this and you'll be in tune? And the guy goes, yes, the inventor of auto-tone. So and then, this is how it starts, and now I'll stop right here. Usher, the singer, is on a plane, on a jet with T-Pain. And he tells the stewardess to call T-Pain over to him. Okay. So Usher's a singer, and he tells T-Pain this, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? And he says, I just want to tell you something, man. I think you kind of fucked up singing. Yeah,
I heard that story, right? He was like, yeah, that shit is trash. That shit ain't going to last. And that shit just took over the world, bro.
But this is the thing that shocked me, what T-Pain said. that he went back to his seat and he thought about it. He said he thought about it over and over. He goes, did I just fuck this thing up?
Because that's Usher telling you that. You feel
Right.
me? He's fucking millionaire just off his song.
Right.
So he knows what the fuck he's saying.
So he's pretty much saying, you are letting people who cannot sing now sing. Okay? So you're fucking it up for the real ones. So T-Pain said this. I sat there and I thought about it. He goes, and that was the beginning of a 4-year depression.
Shit.
And then I was like, okay, I'm hooked. So this is pop. I recommend it.
Right.
Anything you recommend, anything you've been watching that's good? Doesn't have to be music.
To be honest, I love watching documentaries about people like doing music and stuff like that, because it shows you like their origin story, how they started, the things they had to do, because everybody has to do something to get to that next level. You feel me? Whether it's like, you know, like, but whatever it is that you go through. You feel me? Like me, I'm the type to like, all right, Tony, you want to shoot a video with me? I love your music. Let's do it. I got $1,500 to last me these next 2 months. My budget for our video is $3,000. I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna figure out how to do it. I'm gonna do what I gotta do, but we're gonna take care of that. Because I know next month you're gonna do a song with this person. That person's huge, and then I really don't got the budget for that.
Right.
So that's what I'm doing. You feel me? So it's like seeing them struggle. I'm like, damn, all right, I get it now.
Right.
That's so dope. Like I could always like really like, you know, connect with that. So I love watching those.
If there's one that you haven't seen, let me recommend it. If you haven't seen it, you ever see the Quincy Jones?
Nah, I've been meaning to watch that.
To me, that's at least so far within the last 10 years, that's probably the best music documentary that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I recommend that, the Quincy Jones story.
That's dope.
It starts off with Dr. Dre
right
in the beginning, so that tells you something.
That's fucking fire.
So now let us begin. Growing up in an Ecuadorian home, okay, what type of music did your mother, your father play as a kid, as you growing up? What did they listen to?
You know what's fire to me? Like out here in Cali, like everybody in their youth, they heard oldies, right?
Right.
Oldies, like that's fire. Like you heard that from your parents with the oldies. We didn't really have that too much out there because, you know, my mom's from Ecuador. Her oldies are different. They're from South America, like South America oldies. So they were always like songs, but I feel like it's the same kind of thing, but different languages, different vibes, different everything. But I'm like, that's why I fucks with oldies. I like oldies because it reminds me of what my mom used to listen to.
Right.
You feel me? It's like the same rhythm, the same words, like romantic stuff. You know what I mean? I love that, but it's in Spanish.
Right.
So like my mom's always played that, and I'm like, all right, that's dope. My mom's be like, yeah, this is the song your father dedicated to me. I'm like, all right, that's a fire song. I like that, you know. And then my dad sings. My dad always sang, but like in Spanish it's called pasillos. You feel me? Like in Ecuador. In Ecuador, it's like there's a party, and then at the end of the party, the guys just stay behind and drink and just get sad and talk about like, you know, their wives or whatever, and they hurt and they broken, and the guy's singing. Pretty much. Somebody brings out a guitar and the guy's singing like that, like oldies vibes. Yeah, that was
pretty much
shit.
like corridos right there, man.
Yeah, similar. But yeah, that was his shit, and he has an amazing voice, bro.
So you grew up listening to that?
Yeah, my father would be at every party. He was a DJ. He started off as a DJ, and then he was the MC, legit, like
vinyl DJ, everything.
Yeah. But then like the DJ shit stopped happening for a little while. You know, 2001, 2003, 2004. It wasn't no more turntables. He was old school with the big ass turntable with the suitcase that you put on the double. The
coffin.
The coffin. It looked like a coffin, right?
Yeah.
Huge. He had vinyls, LPs, all that. You know what I mean? Like I remember one time I was going through like the storage, and I'm like, yo, that's a Cool J Rock the Bell. Like, yo, Bob, what you doing with this right here? It was like, what you mean? I'm a DJ. I'm like, all right, you could have fucking put me on. You ain't put me on to that. That's dope though. You know?
Right.
Like, yeah, like if you a DJ, doesn't matter where you came from, you gotta get what's popping and what's gonna move the crowd.
Right.
You feel me? Right. Even if that's not your vibe, it's gonna move the crowd, and you gotta acclimate yourself to that. It's the same shit with like rapping. You feel me? Like I love 90s hip hop. That's my shit. Mobb Deep, Nas, Jay-Z, DMX. I love that. You feel me? And now rap has gone a different route.
Right.
And I have to adjust and acclimate myself to that.
Okay.
So I mix my style with that style, and I create my own thing.
Your own sound.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, now let me ask you this, because I asked, big shout out to Ms. Gatis.
Yo, shout out Ms. Gatis, Mr. New York, man. They dope. I got 2 songs with them. Yeah, look it up. One is called Barrios Unidos. The other one's called Trauma. We shot the videos in New York, on the subway, all that. Crazy.
So, the reason why I bring her up is because I asked her this question. Because to me, when she told me she's Mexicana from Brooklyn.
Right.
Okay. So my question to you is this. Is there a big Ecuadorian community in New York?
Yeah. New York is super multicultural.
Because, you know, okay, growing up, and I was a teenager, all we ever heard was New York was blacks, Puerto Ricans, Jewish.
Nah, it's not like that at all.
Okay.
It's not like that
again, we're going back to the 80s.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When the 80s, it's like, yeah. Like when my parents came here, they told me it was like, yo, nobody spoke English. If you found an Ecuadorian, you lucky. You'll be lucky because they both came here without knowing the language, and they getting jobs and everything. You feel me? They started from nothing, and my dad built up a company, everything. You feel me? Like, it was crazy. But yeah, in the 80s it was like that. But then more people like migrated and came, and now it's super multicultural. You have Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Ecuadorians, Mexicans, Salvadorians. So many people. Colombians.
That's a good thing.
And then it's like, you know, everybody, you know, I don't think it's separated by neighborhoods, but you know, everybody like it used to be, but not anymore.
Right.
It's really like economical. What can you really afford? You feel me? Like if it's cheaper here, we're gonna go over there. Why are we gonna pay double the rent just because it's in a nice place? You feel me? Like nah, we gotta save money up, and you know, it's like that.
Let me ask you this: up there, is the gang element big like the way it is out here in LA?
I feel like over there the gang stuff is like, if you in a gang, then I guess it is. You feel me? Like, but you got the blood flag, you got the Crip flag, you got the Patria flag, whatever flag you got, you repping it. You wearing the colors, you wearing the beads, and people like, yeah, he's in the fucking gang.
I know things are different now, but back then in the 80s, when you're watching B Street, you're watching Style Wars, and you're watching all these like New York hip hop movies, you never would have heard of Blood and Crip in New York.
Yeah, because I think that came over like in the 90s, right? Something like that. Like they started coming over and like, you know, making different sets and stuff. And I know it's definitely different though. The gang culture out here is like, it's really, really, really gang culture.
Are you familiar with a guy from the Bronx, Breakbeat Lou?
Nah, I'm gonna check him out though.
Okay, he's an old school DJ. He put together some records called Ultimate Breaks and Beats, and we're talking about early 80s. A lot of history. I'm supposed to be getting them here. There's just a lot of history behind him. He released a set of records, a volume of 25, for DJs to play certain break beats on the record. Dope. You know, like drums and shit like that. Well, the reason why I bring him up is because before I ever went to New York, he had told me, you need to hurry up and get over here because it's changing like really fast.
Yeah.
So that's why when you say the Blood and the Crip thing, to me, I was like, what the hell? Like, you never would have heard of that back then.
Right.
I mean, back then, the gangs were like, you ever seen the movie The Warriors?
Yeah.
To me,
like
that was like, we thought New York was
it's
like
different
that.
now. There's really,
of course.
There's really gang shit, but, you know, they hang out in their areas and their spots and, you know, whatever. Wherever it is, that's where they at.
Like I saw a video. I mean, of course, I'm not a fan of his shit, but I saw a video where Tekashi was sporting a red rag and I was tripping. Like, what the hell? Like, this really tripped me out.
Yeah,
you know,
that was in Brooklyn.
Yeah, and that is like, it seems like that has spread everywhere. You know,
right now it's gotten to the point where it's kind of like people who really are about that gang shit, they're really about that gang shit. They don't play that. It's like, yo, we in this shit. But there's other people that think, yo, that's kind of cool. I kind of want to have a red flag and be cool. Like, girls like that shit. I'm dangerous. Like, the people that do it for that reason don't really last that long. You just use a prime example.
Yes,
you know what I mean? So
you're right.
It's like that. Whoever's really about it is really about it, and they're gonna stay like that. You know.
Growing up in Brooklyn, did you ever grow up playing any sports, any Pop Warner football, any baseball, anything?
Just basketball is really popular.
Yeah.
Play ball, hell yeah. Like, we in class, you got gym time, they give you 30 minutes. All right, with a basketball, the girls just sitting there watching the guys play basketball. So it's like we gotta impress the girls. So crossing people over. I tore both my ACLs playing in the backyard.
No shit?
Yeah, with my cousins.
What were we playing, with a bowling ball or what, man?
Nah, we playing with that energy, with that aggression. Because it's like, if you're playing with your cousin, it's like when you go to the park and you're playing with somebody and he fouls you, it's like, all right, it's a fight. But if it's your cousin, it's like, ah, that's family, you know. It's like, we ain't gonna fight, bro. Like, my own's right there, like.
Right.
So it's like, all right, well, take that. It's like, all right, well, you know, it's back and forth. It's really like tough playing. So
right.
That was good though. There's a lot of good competition, a lot of good, like, you know. Sometimes there'd be a little fight here and there, but
right,
it was
right.
dope. Yeah.
Now let me ask you this: what's your pro basketball team?
Man, I love the Knicks. No matter what, they
Knicks?
You know, yeah, the Knicks.
Why not the Nets?
I fucks with the Nets, but you know, originally they're from Jersey.
Okay.
You feel? But I did like Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd is fire. He's a fucking legend.
Right.
You feel me? So when you in New York, you want to see a basketball game, you can see the Knicks or you can see the Nets. But you'd have to go across the bridge, go to Jersey, and do all that. It was worth it when you had Jason Kidd and Kenya Martin and all them like dope players, and they went to the finals.
Right.
Right. They got swept, I think, by Kobe, right? It's fucked up. Damn, that's crazy. All right, y'all got it. But that was good, though. You feel me? Because the Nets were always, like, you know, garbage until they started getting nice. And at that point, it culminated to that.
Right.
But then after that, it wasn't the same. But then Jay-Z bought a part of the Brooklyn Nets. And that was a big thing. And it was like, holy fuck, we're going to have a stadium in Brooklyn? This shit is fire. Like,
yeah.
Brooklyn, what's up? but it wasn't the Knicks. You feel me? I love my Knicks.
Right,
You know what I
right,
mean?
okay.
So I fucks with the Nuts. They dope. I like the building. The fucking center is dope.
Yeah.
There's a 40-40 club. Jay-Z owns it. It's inside the Barclays Center. That shit nice.
So, favorite football team?
I don't really watch football like that, man.
Okay.
It was just basketball and shit. Really growing
What
up.
about baseball?
Baseball? I love the Yankees. That's my shit.
The Yankees?
Hell yeah.
I mean, I know you're wearing the Yankees hat, but I had to ask you.
Nah. Yeah, I mean, I always wear different hats, whatever matches, whatever's dope. I know out here you really can't do that. You feel me? Specific hats mean specific things. Out there is whatever. It is what it is. You know?
Okay.
I like to match my shit. See, I got the pink in the bottom, pink on the sneaker, you know?
Growing up, ever playing the instruments?
Nah, man. I never had the opportunity. Growing up, it was just all about, like, just keeping up with everybody. You know, my boys, they out there chilling. They got nice clothes. They out there with the girls. And that's what we really trying to do, just chase girls and, you know, just do that, really.
That'll work, man. That'll
Hell
work.
yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. If I were to ask you, growing up, were you ever a fan of West Coast rap?
Yeah, dude, like, for real. Let me think. Because growing up, the origin came from that, right? Like, my sister, she was 10 years older than me. So when Biggie died, like, she cried. And I was like, fuck, dude. Like, this is my sister. Like, I really love her. Like, why is she crying? This shit is making me sad. I'm like, fuck. And she's like, yo, Biggie died. Like, I remember that. And she would, like, cry. I'm like, fuck. Same shit when Tupac died. She cried. I'm like, fuck. Like, she really loved hip-hop like that. And I was like, I felt that shit. And you feel it, like, in the streets and shit when they died. Like, that shit was bad, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like I said, the only way to really listen to that is what's on the radio. You probably take a cassette and push record, and you could save that song and put it in your tape player, or you can make a CD in 2003, 4 when you can actually make a CD.
Right.
Right. But it was like that tricky time when you really had to either buy the CD, and it's like CDs are what, $20. I'm fucking 10, 12 years old. I don't got $20 to fucking buy a CD. You know, so you got to be very careful. So I'm gonna pick what's hot, what's popping, what's on the radio, what the girls like.
Yeah. What was, if any, either album or artist, your top 5 West Coast artists that you liked growing up?
I bet. So when I was in high school, it was
West Coast.
No,
West
yeah.
Coast.
When I was in high school, there was an era when hip hop went like south. Lil Jon, East Side Boys. That shit was dope. You know, it was just like a lot of club songs, a lot of club mixes. I was 14, 15. I don't really fuck with the club. You know, I'm very like methodical. I'm trying to think. You know, I'm trying to figure out who I am. So I was like, all right, let's see what this Tupac thing is about. You feel me? And yo, that shit was fucking fire. That shit, like, so he has so many fire fucking songs, and you can hear the passion in his voice. You can hear everything. I'm like, fuck, dude, like, Tupac is fucking sick. And I'm not talking about Ambitions as a Rider, Hail Mary. I'm talking about the other shit, Death Around the Corner, Bury Me a G, Shorty Wanna Be a Thug. Like, I was like, fuck, dude, this shit is sick. And that just made me fall in love with the sound, with the flow. West Coast was dope. Slowly, I got introduced to, like, Nate Dogg, you feel me, Too Short, Snoop Dogg, and I was like, all right, this shit is dope. I really fuck with it. You know what I mean? Little by little, like, I like to, like, learn and explore and see what it is for myself, you feel me? Because I'm in New York, Ecuadorian parents. My sister loves East Coast hip-hop. Remember that East Coast, West Coast beef? She's like, yo, Biggie, you know what I mean? That was her shit, so I'm like, all right.
Okay, your top 5, if not albums, artists from the East Coast.
East Coast, oh, man. I love Mobb Deep. That's my shit. Okay. I love Mobb Deep. I love Jay-Z. I love Nas. But I'm talking about Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt. You feel me? Like, I think I want to say I was 9 years old. And that, you know, DMX put out 2 albums in the same year. And that was the first time that an artist put out 2 albums in the same year and they both went fucking platinum. That was crazy. That was unheard of. The second one was on Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. And that was like around like Christmas time, November-ish, I remember. And that's the same time that Jay-Z Hard Knock Life Volume 2 came out. And I was like, yo, I really want these shits. But it's like super explicit. They got mad curses. And my sister got them for me. Both of them shits. Hell yeah. That was like, fuck, I played them shits every day. That was my shit. So what I did is when I got older, I bought the original vinyls of those. And now they're in my studio. You feel me? So when I write my shit, it's always inspiration. Like, look, that's when I fell in love with hip-hop.
So you say Mobb Deep. You say...
I love Mobb Deep, Nas, Jay-Z.
That's 3.
Who else?
Give me 2 more.
Damn, that's mad pressure. Fuck, bro.
You a Wu-Tang fan or no?
Yeah, I fucks with Wu-Tang, but I know there's definitely a lot more artists that I really fuck with.
Big Pun.
Dude, I love Big Pun. You know who else is dope? I mean, obviously Biggie. Biggie's number 1. I know all the Biggie verses front to back. I know every album. His fucking cadence is crazy. His rap style was fire. Like, that's already off rip. That shouldn't even count. That's number one. Biggie, Tupac, all of them. I like Shine. You ever heard of Shine?
Yeah.
Shine was fire. When Biggie passed away, Bad Boy brought on Shine. He kind of sounded like Biggie, and his shit was dope. I like the first album he put out, but then the second album he did from jail, that shit was well produced. That shit was crazy. I remember that.
Do you know if we're talking about the same Shine, the guy that sounded just like Biggie, you know,
Yep.
I believe even Puff might have even signed him at one point.
Yeah, he was in the shootout with Puff and
Yes.
J-Lo and all that.
Do you know where he lives at now, Shine?
I think he's in Belize now. He got deported because of
Okay.
that whole situation.
I want you to look it up, okay?
Yeah.
I had heard, and then I saw an article in a magazine that Shine lives in Israel.
Yeah, because he converted to Judaism, I think.
Yes, that's crazy right there.
Yeah. Because I think he was in prison, he was deported, and it was like, you know, he lived a wild life in New York. Like all
Yeah.
the shit he rapped about, he did. You feel me? Like if you in the club with J-Lo and Diddy in the year 2001, those are the number one stars in the world.
Right.
You got a gun on you, you shooting that shit, you really about that shit.
Right.
You don't give a fuck if he signed to Bad Boy or whatever. Like Diddy, you know, Diddy put me on is what I'm doing right here, you know. So he was really about that. So I'm pretty sure like getting caught up and doing everything and then seeing like, because once you get locked up, you really see who's really with you. You really see who's really like down for you. And I'm pretty sure he went through some shit. So really the only person that's ever really with you is God, bro. So there you go.
Now, let me ask you something that is interesting. Say you have Tupac and you got Biggie on the same stage.
Right.
And they battle. You're the judge.
Damn.
Who wins?
Fuck, man. That's hard because the styles are so different. You feel me? Like, Biggie got that Brooklyn swag. Like, he a player. He talking that shit to the ladies, talking that shit to the guys. You feel me? Tupac is on some, like, he got that pain. He's letting that shit out. You feel me? Because he got that anger, that resentment. He has a lot to get off his chest.
Right.
Tupac recorded how many songs, you know what I mean, in a day? He has how many tracks unreleased? You feel me? Like, Tupac is fucking crazy. And then Biggie only did shit. They both died really young. That's crazy, right? Biggie only had 2 albums, but...
Biggie 24, Pac 25.
Yeah. That was crazy.
Okay, then I'll make it easier on you. Tupac, All Eyes on Me, double CD. Okay.
That's a good one.
Then you have Biggie, Life After Death, double CD. You got to pick one.
I love Biggie.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
That's cool.
Biggie in 94, 95, 96, I was listening to Biggie. I listened to Tupac when I was like 16, 17, 18.
Favorite Tupac song?
Damn. Fuck, what was that one? They'll never take me alive. I'm getting high with the knife. Trying to die. You know what I'm talking about? Nah?
You tell me. That's your favorite one.
I forgot the name of the fucking song, but it was so fucking hard, dude. I don't know. He has a lot. But I like, I'd rather be.
Okay.
Rather be. It's like some shit like, you know, when there was only CDs and there was no such thing as like Apple Music and nothing like that, you'd have to have a nice CD.
Of course.
In the car, you know, you got to put the shorty CD, you know, so I put on some Biggie, Only You with 112 and Mace, you know,
Right.
set the tone, and then I put Rather Be, you know, like dun, 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 dun. So
See, like Only You just said it right now. That's that one song right there. Are there any songs out there right now like that?
You know what? A lot of people have been trying to sample classic songs like that from the 90s. They've been sampling them and doing them. I think a few people tried and they've done it. It's cool. It's nice, you know, but dude, that's Only You with 112. Biggie in his prime, Mace in his prime, Mace before he was a preacher, Mace spitting that shit. Like, you can't top that, bro. You really got to be something really, 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 really special to top that shit. That's a classic. No matter what, no matter where you are, what part of the country, what part of the world, you play 112 Only You with Biggie and Mace, everybody gonna vibe. They're gonna vibe. You know, sit back, relax, enjoy, sip something, you know?
Yeah, well, you know, I guess what I'm saying is like those type of classic songs. Are we making classic songs like that today?
I don't know, bro. I feel like it's just like we're trying to get everything out. We're trying to get everything out. Like, all right, that person put out that song. All right, I'm going to make something similar to it, but I'm going to say some more spicy shit, and we're going to put that out. It's going to top him. And then that's what it is. Really, nobody's really, like, trying to focus and really put, like, their heart into shit. You know, like I said, Tupac really put his heart into his fucking album. Like, everything you heard is like, holy fuck. Like, he's really spitting some shit.
I'm going to ask you one last question before we go to break, okay? Back in 80s and 90s, there were never, ever, East Coast, West Coast, down south, no two rappers that sounded the same. They each had their own style. Even DJs had their own style. Even pop lockers had their own style.
Can't bite that style, bro.
You can't bite that style. Okay, because that was called biting.
Hell yeah, that's just biting.
East Coast had, let's just name a couple, you know, Public Enemy, KRS-One, Tribe Called Quest, Wu-Tang, they all had their own sound off from the East Coast. We all knew that was the East Coast sound. West Coast, let's just say we had NWA, we had Ice-T, Mixed Master Spade, Toddy T, the Warren G's, their own sound.
Yeah.
West Coast had their own sound. Would you agree that 2021, the majority, not all, the majority of rap all sounds the same?
Yeah. Not that it sounds the same, it's just that everybody doesn't really have like a blueprint because they don't do their research. Like I just named Only You with Puff Daddy, Maze, Biggie. Like you say Only You to a kid that's like 19, that's just a rapper. He's nice. Like, yo, bro, you know that song Biggie Only You? It's like, the fuck you talking about, dude? Like a lot of kids don't know the origin and the roots and the history of hip hop. You feel me? Like I love hip hop so much. That shit needs to be respected. You gotta know where everything came from. Like everybody you mentioned, I know NWA, Ice-T, all of that. I have to do my research. Have to. Yeah. Because all of this shit that's here today, it derived from something, and it all started somewhere. Yeah. So slowly, it just keeps changing and trickling. You feel me? But I feel like if you look back at the past, you could always like definitely like improve shit and make it better. If you're just copying off of somebody, you're just copying off of somebody. It's not going anywhere.
I went where hip hop began.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bronx.
Cool Herc spot.
Yeah, that's fire.
So, okay, we'll come right back. We're going to take a 10-minute break, all right? So make sure you sip a little bit more of that Hennessy. So, okay, everybody, make sure you call somebody, text somebody, slap the shit out of somebody, let them know that Jay Bliss from Brooklyn is in the motherfucking building. We'll be back in 10 minutes. You'll call somebody, text somebody, slap the shit out of somebody. Let them know that Rodeium Radio is live up in this biatch. Welcome back, everyone, to Rodeium Radio episode 180. And we're going to go ahead and jump right back into it with none other than Jay Bliss from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, New York. You already know. Appreciate
Stand up,
you,
Brooklyn.
Tony. Thank you, man. You already know.
I'm glad I'm meeting some East Coast friends, so that way when I go back over there, I'm going to hit you up, man.
Listen, man, you're good in Brooklyn. We pull up.
Any good Ecuadorian restaurants you can recommend?
There's a lot, man. They're actually all around, like all in Bushwick. Around Bushwick. They're actually everywhere, but in Bushwick, they got some good ones.
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie. Where Miss Gati's is at in Sunset Park, fire Mexican restaurants. Good ass tacos.
Well, I have Mexican food all the damn time.
Yeah.
So I want to try some good Ecuador. What
Hell yeah.
dish would you recommend?
It depends what you like. You know, they have a lot of soups that are fire. They have like a chicken stew that's really, really, really good.
I like shit like that.
Yeah. So you definitely love that shit. It's called like seco de pollo, de gallina. Like, you know, you get the chicken, put some rice in there. That shit good.
Okay.
You know, it also has ceviche. Because in Ecuador, it's like you have a mountainous region, you have a coast, you have an Amazon jungle. Like, it's fucking crazy. All in this one shit. Hell yeah. So my mom's is from the coast, my dad is from the mountains. So it's different cultures, legit. Like, the coast is like Miami-ish. It's a beach vibe, you know? Like, you come out of school, you're 13, we going to the beach.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like living in Miami. So every time I go, I have two different experiences. It's pretty dope.
That'll work. So let me ask you this. What made you come out to LA? Was it just to work with these artists?
I felt like, all right, so when the pandemic hit, I was like, fuck it, it's time to take my shit serious because nobody's working, nobody has shows, everybody's like on the same level. The people that were really doing their thing and doing shows, they were like shocked, like, fuck, what the fuck do I do now? And the people that weren't doing shit, they're like, all right, well, this is a chance to do something. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. Let's do it. Let's go all in. Cause every time I make a song, it's like I'm going through something, and I put that shit on a song, on a track. Obviously, I make it in a way where y'all can relate to it, and y'all like it, and y'all fuck with it. I say shit that y'all want to repeat, you know what I mean? But there's always like hidden messages, shit that's like really like, I really go through shit, you know? Sometimes it's good stuff, bad stuff, whatever it is, you know? But when I write a song, I see something in my head, you feel me? I'm like, yeah, this shit could be like this, and I see that, and I see that. Wow, it'll be so cool if one day I had enough money to like get a really good videographer and do this and have a set and have these girls and that. You know, it was always like a thought, but it takes a lot of investment, a lot of money. You feel me? I got a lot of bills. So it's like, I'm going to pay these bills, I'm going to shoot this video. Priorities.
Right.
Pandemic hit, I said, fuck priorities, bro. Fuck it. We're going to do this shit. I'm going to be a millionaire at some point, and then I'll worry about paying all that shit back. It ain't nothing, bro. Fuck it.
Right. Well, so, you know what? I always tell not only artists, but just people in general, there's never going to be a perfect time.
Yeah, there's never a good time.
You got to do it.
You just got to do it. That's it.
You just got to do it. So now let me ask you a question. Going back to the beginning of you rapping, how old were you when you said to yourself, you know what, let me try and fuck around and start writing some lyrics?
Honestly, I was in high school. I feel like everybody has that story. Like, oh, I was in high school and I was in a poetry class and the shit was nice and I wrote.
Okay.
It was like that. I'm like, all right, because, you know, rappers are spitting like Biggie and Tupac. I ain't fucking Biggie or Tupac or DMX. I don't have that, like. So I'm like, all right, let me write some poems, you know?
Okay.
So I started like that and I got nice with it. And I was like, all right, that shit is dope. Those bars are fire. Okay. And then one day I just put it to a beat. You never guess what beat it was. My first beat I ever put a poem to.
A Biggie beat. I was going to say Biggie.
Tupac, bro. It's called Tupac, Baby Don't Cry.
Do you remember the lyrics?
Huh?
If not, it's okay. That was back in high school.
Oh, man. You know, it's crazy. My sister was singing. My father put her in singing class. You feel me? So she was singing Selena. That's her shit. She made covers and CDs, and she was singing Selena since she was a little girl. You feel me? So at this point, she was like already like, you know, like she's 4 years younger than me. So she was at a point where she was older. And I'm like, all right, let's put you on the hook. She's like, all right, cool. So I wrote a hook for her. I remember that hook. That hook is fire. You know what I mean? Because I like girls when they sing and they got a beautiful voice, but they say some gangster shit.
Yeah.
That's my shit. I love that. You feel me? So I'm like, all right.
Now, do you remember when you first recorded yourself? It doesn't matter if it was in the studio, karaoke, or a cassette player, but do you remember when you recorded yourself, they played it back and you listened? Do you remember that experience?
Yeah. I was like...
What was that like, man? And when you heard it, did you like to hear your voice?
First, I was super self-conscious. So I'm doing that shit by myself, not doing that shit around nobody. Because it's like, oh, he trying to be a fucking rapper? Get the fuck out of here. Come on, bro. What the fuck is a love song? Really? That's what the fuck you doing? Nah. We're very critical in New York. Like, get the fuck out of here with that. Always. So I'm like, I'm going to do this shit by myself. So that's what I did. I did it by myself. I had a laptop because I also like wrote a lot in high school.
Yeah.
You feel me? I wrote like plays and scripts and poetry, and I was really good. I got like awards for writing and shit. Like I was very articulate, dude. Like I know a lot of big words, but that helped me later on. Like now I spit some shit like, oh, what the fuck you just say? Oh shit, he rhymed what word with that? Oh shit. But it came from like those beginnings. You feel me? Yeah, because growing up, I was like, you know, I was a little badass, but then I was like, damn, my mom was like crying. She's like, what the fuck? Like, dude, I sacrificed so much for you. This is what the fuck you're doing? Like, really? And I was like, that shit broke my heart. I'm like, damn, all right, bet. Let me try to do better. So I paid attention in class, and I was like really doing my thing, you know?
Right.
So it's like, it's a pattern of like, whatever I put my mind to, I'm going to do it. You feel me? My bad. What was the original question? I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good, brother. You know what? It's all good. You know what? When you first played back.
Oh, yeah. So,
where was that at? You said you had a laptop?
I had a laptop. I put up GarageBand, you know what I mean? And I was like, fuck it, let's try it. And I really taught myself because I was super self-conscious. Like
at that time, did you know about bars already?
Kinda.
As far as 16?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not really 16 bars, but I knew you, like for me, if I hear a song, I can see this, I can know the difference between a hook and a verse. I could kind of feel the difference. I could kind of hear like, all right, the beat switched up there, that's a chorus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, it switched up again, that's verse 2. Oh, it switched up, that's chorus, that's verse 3. Then later on, I started learning, oh, that's a bridge, that's this, that's that. But, you know, I started hearing, because I listen to so much music. I kind of like already know, like, I kind of feel like, all right, that was a 16. That was this, that was that, you know? So I was like, all right.
So you played it back. Did you like
it? I was like, damn, the bitches are going to love this shit, bro. It's a fucking nice-ass love song, you feel me? I was like, let's get my sister on this hook, because even if it's whack, all the attention will go to her. Like, wow, she sings so beautiful. All right, bet, let's do that. Take the attention away from me. And we did it, and she was fire. She really hooked that shit up. I was like, all right, that was my first song, was with my little sister.
So you did it, and did you show it around? And if you did, what was the response?
I showed it to the girls. They fucking loved it. They were like, wow, that shit is nice. You really got some talent. I'm like, I ain't gonna show my boys and shit. Like, yo, bro, hear this love song I did. You feel me? Like, yo, I'm talking to the girls. I don't wanna hear that shit. They listen to Black Rob.
Right.
So it was like that. But little by little, it was like that, because at that time, I was like, fuck all that shit. I'm going to just do good in school, and I'm going to try my best to make my moms proud. Yeah. So the only thing I'm not going to talk about no gang shit, because I'm not doing no gang shit. All I knew was, like, I had a little girlfriend. I had little girls here and there. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's my little shorty. So I'm going to write songs about what I know. I'm not going to try to be something I'm not, because you can hear it on the track. It's not authentic. Right. You feel me? So I was like, all right. So I just made love song after love song after love song, and the girls really loved it. Mm-hmm. They were fucking with it. But then, I don't know, bro. It was like... a few people were like, yo, that shit is whack. That shit is corny. Like, but not to me. They were saying it to other people, and that shit kind of like affected me. I'm like, damn, like, I'm really trying my fucking hardest here. That's crazy, because nobody fucking told me how to rap.
About how old were you when you did that?
I want to say I was like 18. Okay. 18, 19, you feel me?
So you're still testing the waters?
Yeah, I'm like trying to see what's up. Like, all right, that's cool. Let me see if it works. But nah, bro. So I just stopped it. And then I got with a girl, and she ended up moving in with me, and I had like all my studio equipment that I bought over the years. Like, yo, throw that shit out, bro. Like, the fuck you doing with this? Like, cause it's useless. You're not doing it. I'm like, all right. So I put it to the side. But then we broke up, and it was a crazy breakup. Like, that shit was not supposed to end, but I was like, fuck, it ended. It ended for whatever reason it ended, and I was like, wow, dude, this is like my second chance to really, 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 like, for a minute, I almost gave up on music entirely. You feel me? Like, that was it. I was like, fuck it, whatever it is, what it is. So when that, like, she ended up having a miscarriage, and then whatever, blah, blah. So the relationship ended, and I was like, fuck it, this is a second chance. My life almost changed completely. Once you have a kid, like, like, I'm a family man, you feel me? Like, I love my sister's daughters, nieces, nephews, like, kids, bro, they're the shit. Right. So I'm like, when I have a kid, I'm gonna be there for them. I'm gonna do everything, everything I ain't have. My kid gonna be on a basketball team, baseball team, all that shit, you feel me? Boxing, all that, you know what I mean? But, so when that happened, I was like, nah, this is my second chance. I gotta really fucking do it, and I did it. And I did my first video. It was, I fucks with Hennessy. Free promotion. I'm playing. I fucks with Hennessy, so the song was called Henny Got Me Wildin', you feel me? So I did it in the backyard. We got a videographer. It was my first shit. It's still on YouTube. It's called Henny Got Me Wildin'.
How did you like being in front of the camera?
It was kind of weird, bro, because I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm a big dude, you feel me? I'm self-conscious. I got to see what my angles are, you feel me? Like, don't be catching me like that, bro. Let me put this girl here, put that girl there, and I'm behind them like, hey. You know what I mean?
He said, let me get my angles.
Hell yeah, bro. You got to see what the angles are, because, like, when you see yourself in a picture, you're like, I don't like that picture. That shit is whack. Same shit with a video,
It's funny you say that, because many times I interview, female artists. Yeah. We take a picture together at the very end. So I put my arm around, and they're like, can I get on that side? Because that's my favorite angle. And at first, I kind of didn't get that.
That's the good side, bro.
That's the good side. We just changed it to my angle.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody, like, I feel like when you first start doing this rap shit, you practice in the mirror a lot. No matter what anybody tells you, they practice in the mirror. They practice their verses. They practice how they do their voice and everything. So you kind of know what side looks good, what side doesn't. You feel me? So it's like that.
I have to bring up something about the angles.
What's up?
There was a girl here, with all due respect, she took a picture of us like this, with her phone all the way up. So I said, well, why do girls do that? And she goes, oh, if you notice, all chubby girls do this. It stretches out our double chin.
She's not supposed to tell you that secret, bro. That's a secret.
But she was a real one, She was like, oh, yeah. And he goes, that way you can see our double chin and we look a little bit thinner. It's all within the angles. And I was like, shit. She goes, and she said this. She goes, and short guys always take pictures looking down.
Damn.
Because it makes them look taller. So she was spilling everything, bro.
Fucking snitching on everything. That's crazy.
So if you guys see guys or girls doing that, now you guys know.
Nah, it's true though. It's true. If you really look at it, you can kind of tell. You feel me? So I don't know. I'm at a point now where it's like I don't give a fuck. I let my music speak for itself.
There you go.
I look how I look. It is what it is. I'm dressed how I'm dressed, and that's what it is. You fuck with me or you don't, it's cool, bro. Either way, tomorrow I got a studio session.
Yes.
Next week I got a video. Eventually my crowd, they're gonna catch up to me.
Yeah.
You feel me? My audience hasn't found me. I'm here trying to find my audience.
That's dope.
Me? And they're going to find me.
Hell
and
yeah.
when they do, that's when the shit's going to pop. You feel me? So right now, I got like, 12,000 followers, 13. Eventually, it's going to get to like 100, 150, 200 when my audience finds me. Until then, I'm going to keep making my music my way, the way I do it, because I know the way I do it, people like it. People fuck with it, and the audience is gonna find it. When they do, it's gonna come together, and that's when shit fucking blows up. I ain't stopping this shit, bro.
That's dope, man. I like that you believe in yourself, because
Have to.
I work with a lot of artists, male and female, and many of them, one thing they lacked, self-confidence. They didn't believe in themselves.
That's the shit I went through. Remember, I did like mad love songs, and then I stopped, bro. And it was like something was missing. I felt like shit. It wasn't a depression. It was just like I didn't have like a purpose. So I was like trying to do different jobs, different careers. Let me try to go to this law thing. Let me try to do that. Let me try to work here. Let me see if I can get like a job with the city. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I was trying mad different shit, but nothing fulfilled me. I had good jobs, but I'm like, nah, bro. So like I said, when that pandemic hit, it was a really bad time for me. Like I had like no money, no bread. I was sad. I went through like a breakup. The shit was hard, bro. And I was like, I was down, and no, you can't go outside. That pandemic shit was crazy. Nobody could go outside. They were putting bleach on the fucking like grocery bags and shit.
I know.
So I'm like, I can't even leave, and I'm stuck. Like I ain't want to be home, and like I'm stuck here. What the fuck do I do? So I just like close my eyes and I hear a beat, and I'm like, boom, this is everything I'm not right now, but one day it's gonna be that. And that was my first video. I'm like, I see a fucking $100,000 car. I'm in a club. I got bottles. I got girls, and that's what I see. And that I'm just to get myself out of that. And that was my first video before the pandemic. It's called Big Booty Pants. If you look at it,
Big Booty Pants.
Big Booty Pants.
Okay.
You feel me? So I'm spitting some shit on that.
Make sure you guys go look it up. Big Booty Pants.
Big
On
Booty Pants.
What YouTube? Your YouTube?
Yeah. My YouTube. Jay Bliss. If you look up Jay Bliss anywhere, you put J space BLXSS, like J, the JBL speaker.
Okay.
If you put JBL and then an X, you'll find me. You see the logo.
Now, let's talk a little bit about your name. Has that always been your rap name, and why Jay Bliss?
All right. My initials are JB.
Okay.
Originally, my name was like JB. That's what I was going by. It's like JAI and then space B. That would be cool. I fucked
like
with
Jim
that.
Beam.
But then J. Cole came out. I'm like, fuck. So many fucking J's. Like, you know, Jay-Z's cool, but then J. Cole came out. I'm like, damn, that's a J. Cole. Everybody
Jay-Z.
just kept putting J. Yeah, everybody kept putting J on their shit. I'm like, fuck. Then I was like, I don't care. It is what it is. Like, I'm Jay Bliss, and it's like when I make music, it comes from like a special place.
Yeah.
Like, you know. So I'm like, nah. Like I'm the happiest when I'm making music. Like that feeling when I make a fucking song and it's like, holy fuck. Like I just created that shit, and that shit was just a beat before me. Now that shit is a fucking song.
And a video.
And the video, imagine after the video, bro, when I rap a video, I'm like, yo, I'm so feel like you have this adrenaline, like shit. That's when you finalized everything. The whole project is finalized. Obviously, when you finish a video, you just started. You got to promote the shit out of that for like a year or two until it pops.
Yes.
But in my head, I'm like, finally, this project is done. Like, it's out of my head.
And I'm glad you just said what you said. You got to promote the shit out of it. Most people think that, well, it's out. Go watch it. Nah, bro.
Ain't nobody looking for you. Why am I gonna look for your shit if Nas just dropped the album last week? I know Nas. I love Nas. And I ain't hear his shit. Why the fuck I'm gonna hear your shit?
Right.
I love Nas, and I didn't hear his album. Why would I hear yours? But if you put an Instagram ad, and I'm like, the fuck is this? I'm like, oh, he just said some dope shit. Oh, that shit. Let me, what the fuck is this? Boom. I got you. That's it. I say some shit, then you're like, all right, that's cool. It kind of intrigues you. And then before you know it, the visuals are so fire that you're like, oh, shit. Before you know it, you just heard the whole song. You know my hook, because I make sure that shit is catchy. I majored in psychology, you feel me? That shit catchy as fuck. I manipulate child with my lyrics, you know?
Okay. Speaking about manipulating with your lyrics, you down to bust a verse?
Oh, I got you. What you want, freestyle?
Whatever you want. Whatever you want. It's up to you.
That's so much pressure, man.
It could be a verse. It could be a freestyle. Whatever you like. Take your time.
All right. Let me see. Because really, when I write shit, and I really sit down and I gotta like go through it. So whatever vibe I'm feeling, that's what I'm gonna like write about.
Okay.
And the beat has to complement that.
Okay. Maybe it could just be a verse from a song. It's up to you.
I got you. Actually, let me tell you something, man. Like, I want to say like July 3rd. July 2nd, I put out a song with Bella Beretta.
Okay.
That shit is fucking fire. I don't care what anybody says. That shit is fire as fuck. The visuals are fire. Bella killed that verse. That shit is crazy. July 2nd, I'm like, yes, the biggest video, the biggest project is fucking out. Let's fucking go. July 3rd, I woke up with Bell's palsy. That Bell's palsy, for those of y'all that don't know, that's when you can't feel a whole side of your face. It's done. Like you had a stroke.
Wow.
That shit, I woke up, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, damn, I slept wrong on the pillow. I can't move this whole side of my face. What the fuck is going on? So I'm like, you know, man, we don't go to the doctors. Fuck out of here for
Yeah,
what?
exactly.
I don't know. Plus,
Drink a little bit more tequila and that's it.
right, fuck all that. Hell yeah, I smoke a few blunts. I'm like, all right, it'll be better. Like,
It'll wake up.
nah, bro. July 4th, I woke up. The barbecues are everywhere. The girls were out. I'm like, I can't even fucking talk. I got a list right now. That shit scared the shit out of me. I'm like, I go to the urgent cares, like little clinics that they have, you know, for not the emergency room, but before the emergency room, you know. So I go and they're like, get the fuck out of here. You got to go straight to the emergency room, bro. We don't know if that's a stroke or not. You better go right now because you might be dying. I'm like, fuck. All right, bro. So I go and they like take me right in. They're like, all right, hurry the fuck up. And they check and they're like, nah, bro, it's just Bell's palsy. I'm like, all right, how long? I got to go to California. I have to shoot a video this week. I have an interview tomorrow. Like, what the fuck is going on? I got videos to shoot in Cali in 3 weeks. You feel me? I got the 28 show. I got my shit planned out. I always stay busy. I'm always doing something. You feel me?
Good.
Even if I'm not shooting a video, I'm talking to somebody. I don't care. I'm
You
doing
stay productive.
Have to. Because you never know who's watching.
Of course.
You feel me? That person only has 100 followers. You do some shit for his page and who the fuck knows? Like his cousin might be a millionaire that's going to invest in all your shit. You don't know.
Exactly.
You don't fucking know. And so, yo, bro, that was like, I want to say 4 or 5 days, bro, fucking straight depression. That shit killed me. Because it's like, you know, like all I have in this world, like that fulfills me is my music. I have a list, but I can't talk.
So how does somebody get that?
So there's a lot of different reasons. Sometimes it comes out of nowhere. I went to the hospital to check me out. Like, dude, you're good. It just came out of nowhere. I'm like, fuck.
I would have just thrown on like a mask.
Right.
And just said he drank lean.
That's what I was doing. I was like, oh, nah, I got my tooth fixed. So, you know, my shit is still numb. That's what I did. But nah, bro, that depression was bad because it's like, yo, that's so crazy. Like the only thing that makes me happy just got taken away from me. And they're like, it'll come back in 2 weeks or 6 months, or it might stay like that forever. We don't know. Nobody knows. All we can give you is medication for a week and you can hope for the best. And I'm like, what the fuck? Everything just got taken from me. I've been busting my ass this whole fucking year coming to Cali. I just dropped shit with Bella yesterday. Today's July 3rd. My face ain't working. What the fuck? That shit killed me, bro. But then I was like, fuck it. It is what it is. Like, I ain't come this far to stay this far. I don't give a fuck. I already been through so much shit. I already quit so many times. Fuck that.
Yeah.
If I gotta rap like this and talk like this, I'm gonna fucking do it like this. I don't care.
So
it is what it is.
how long did it take to recover?
Bro, it was hard. It was like a week and nothing. And then one day I'm like, I could kind of move this a little bit. I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? And then like 5 days later, the list stopped. The list stopped. I'm like, okay, I could rap now. But I really can't control, like, close this eye all the way, and I can't do this. I'm like, fuck. So little by little, it's been improving. You feel me? It's been improving.
I can't.
A lot.
Is it still there?
You can't tell. I mean, I'm a good actor too, bro. You don't know.
Yeah, that's
nah,
nice.
it's there. Like if I smile, like you can see the smile's big and this is like that. It's still there. You feel me? But it is what it is. Whatever. I've been spitting fucking freestyles. I've been going to interviews. I just put my shades on. You can't tell shit.
Just drink a little bit more Henny. I'll probably get better.
That's what the fuck I've been doing. That's what I'm talking about, Tony. Once again, I forgot the original question. What was the original question, bro?
The original question is that are you going to be bringing Sexy back?
I feel like if you look at my videos, bro, that Sexy been there, bro. I got video girls, all my videos, and all of them.
That's dope. That's dope.
Of all of them. Fuck, but the original question, what was it? Because I feel like it was a really good question.
I said, are you going to bust a freestyle or a verse?
Oh, yeah. So this is what happened. Yeah, you're right. So I'm like, once I got better and my list went away, I say, yo, fuck that. That's it. I don't give a fuck. Like, God gave me the gift to do the shit again, and I'm going to do what I got to do, and I'm going to spit the crazy shit. Like, I don't care. Like, if you hear my songs and shit, you're like, damn, this motherfucker don't breathe. Like, you don't give himself time to breathe. When I do my shows, like, I still got to, like, perfect it, bro, because I'm really going in, and I'm going hard, and I'm sweating, and I just don't breathe. I don't give a fuck, because I'm going to get that shit out.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
You want to hear it?
Bust it, homie.
Damn, I just built myself up crazy, right?
That'll work.
Hey, I said, hey, I ain't sleeping a week, same Nikes on my feet. One more time, hold on. I ain't sleeping a week, same Nikes on my feet. I'm a beast, fucking up beats, 2 a.m. in Greece. I've been trying to get away, but that pussy got me weak. She a bad bitch, go through my pockets when I sleep. She a bad bitch, go through my pockets when I sleep, and I love bad. No, hold on, my bad. One more time, I got you. Hold on.
That's
I got
Henny
this.
speaking.
I got this.
You got about 1,000 people live right now, homie.
Yo, everybody listen to this shit for real. I ain't sleeping a week, same Nikes on my feet. I'm a beast, fucking up beats, 2 a.m. in Greece. I done started from the Civic. No. Oh, fuck, hold on. I done started from the Civic. Nah, I done started from the Civic. Now all these bitches is with it. I done changed the logo, put Mercedes on a Jeep. Love bad bitches, so they popping up. Selling quarters like the 8th, so they copping up. So quarters like the eighth, so they copping them. Your man's broke and my pockets stay optimum. Got God by my side, ain't no stopping them. Y yo he estado en la calle desde Rakata. Si tú tienes esa pistola ya pues sácala. Esa hierba que tú fumas huele guácala. Mi shorty se pone nerviosa con la cámara. Ella sabe lo que quiero, aquí le tengo el fierro. En la calle, en el carro, en la casa, en el suelo, donde quiera tengo cuero. En WhatsApp si tan de lejos cada día convertía melodías en dinero. La calle está presente, es evidente. Mi shorty me ama porque le cambió el ambiente. Tengo mercancía que llega del oriente. Gano como sea, aunque la poli esté pendiente.
Dope, man. Let's give him a round of applause. Now, hold on.
Y estamos aquí con Tony en el Roadium. My flow bringing the pressure. Like my flow bringing up the pressure like it's sodium. I've been shitting on these beats like a Modium. And we spitting a cappella on the podium. Jay Bliss, you feel me?
That'll work, man. Just again, Jay Bliss in the motherfucking building.
Yo, I appreciate y'all that ass, but my videos really speak for themselves, bro, for real. Like, when I make a video, I put so much effort into it. I take everybody into account. I
Okay.
make sure y'all not bored of my shit.
Yeah.
Everything changes.
Yeah.
My shit is half English, half Spanish.
Yeah.
When it's a song just me, the first verse is English or Spanish, and the second verse is the opposite language. And the video changes completely. We're at a pool party, we're at a blacklight party. We're over here in the hood, we're over here in this beautiful fucking elegant place. I switch everything up. I make sure my shit is on point.
Dope.
Especially when it's a feature. Did you see the Beretta video?
Yes.
Fuck with it?
Of course.
Yeah?
Of course.
Appreciate you, bro.
Now, let me ask you this. For the fans, what can they expect from Jay Bliss 2021 going forward? More singles, an album, EP, what fill us in?
Damn, bro. To be real, like, I've been blessed to like really like work with Darren Vegas, bro. I know you know who he is. You had him on the show, right? Like 2 episodes ago. Dude, he's fucking fire. He's like, he knows his shit. So I saw your episode. I was like, nah, I gotta hit him up. I have to, cause he sounds like he knows what he's really doing, especially out here. Like, you know, I'm from New York. I don't really have like that ear for the West Coast, like, you know, as far as production and everything. You feel me? I just try to find some West Coast beats, and I've been doing good.
Yeah.
I've been finding some good shit. Dope. But I'm like, I need somebody to really make me my beats. You feel me?
Yeah.
Somebody to really like make some fire shit, and we could collab and work together. And I hit him up. He was like, all right, let's do it. I'm like, all right. Darren Vegas is giving me a chance to really fucking meet up with him. So I'm like, all right, let's go. So I pulled up, and he's like, all right, let's do this. We're going to do a beat from scratch. I'm like, all right, I've never done that shit in my life. I'm like, all right, how we do this? Let's fucking do it. I don't care. So he's showing me different beats, and I'm like, yo, you know, it'll be fire. Well, what I've been doing is, since I came out here, I've been doing freestyles with different LA artists.
Okay.
You feel me? So I'm going to take a classic East Coast beat, some Nas, some Mobb Deep, and I'm going to put some LA artists on it, because I know LA artists can fucking spit.
Yeah.
And they could spit. But from what I've seen, a lot of LA artists spit on the LA tracks. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's fire.
Right.
I'm in New York. I'm spitting on a Biggie track. You feel me? Out here in LA, they spitting on Ambitions as a rider. That shit fire. But I know they could fucking kill an East Coast track too. So that's what I'm doing. I'm like, that, you know what? I'm going to try this new thing. And we're going to spit these freestyles on an East Coast classic, and we're going to fucking do it. You know what I mean? So that's what the fuck I really been on. And I don't know, ever since that shit happened to my face, is better now, but it ignited this fucking fire.
You decided to rise up above it, bro.
I have to, bro. I'm not going to let nothing stop me, bro.
And that should be an encouragement to those that during either a pandemic or when something like that happens, they go into a pity party or depression. We understand that. Yeah. But you also, here's what I always say. You may be the only one that you're going to have to encourage yourself.
Right.
Don't look for somebody you can do it, because you may not get that.
Nah.
You may have to learn how to encourage yourself.
That's a fact. Honestly, like, I don't know, over the years, my dreams have been getting bigger and bigger. And right now, my goals are, like, if I tell you my goals, they're so fucking crazy. You'll be like, that's amazing, that's cool. But this motherfucker's really crazy. Like, he's really aiming high as fuck. He's wilding. Like, nah. I have a global picture in my head. You feel me? We're going to take over regions, and then eventually it's all going to come together. And then that's when y'all going to see the plan unfold all together. But these are just little parts that I'm doing.
If you're going to dream big.
Have to, because I can do whatever the fuck I want, because you know what it is with this music shit? It's hard. And I'm not talking about writing like lyrics and working with people. It's hard because if you're really about this shit, then you're really about this shit, and this is your life. And this comes first. And you can't put nothing before this, because if you put something before this goes on pause, and all that momentum you had, you got lost. So I done lost relationships over this music shit. Good relationships, you feel me? And I'm like, Nah, I ain't come this fucking far and lost so much to fucking let that shit stop me. Fuck out of here. We working with Darren Vegas. You
Right.
feel me? And yo, we fucking flipped the Mob Deep, quiet storm track into some reggaeton type shit. Started with some soft pianos. That shit is fucking beautiful, dude. He knows what the fuck he's doing. He's amazing. He's so fucking good and talented, bro. I'm like, wow. Like, just sitting there and watching, and he gets in the zone, and he's about his shit. And I was like, fuck. So I gotta really spit some fucking bars on this shit. Hell yeah. So he was like, all right, take the beat home and see what you're gonna do. Not home, but, you know, with me. Like, so I just came back today. I just came back from Darren Vegas now.
Okay.
We laid that track down.
Well, wait till you see him do some scratching. Maybe you can have him do
He
some.
can scratch?
Oh,
Oh, he ain't telling me that. That's fire.
come on, Darren. You gotta show this guy.
Nah, but we gonna work on the EP. We working on some shit. You feel me?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
he's working with me. He's working
So
with me.
in the future, a possible EP then.
Multiple EPs.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
You know what I mean? As long as the vibe is there, it's there, and we gonna do it. Like, I always notice that, like, if a vibe is there, I'm not gonna stop.
Okay.
I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep doing that shit until it don't feel right. But
Okay.
this shit feels right, bro.
2 more questions. Any more visuals dropping soon?
I just came back from Ecuador. That's where I'm from.
Okay.
I just came back like 3 weeks ago, and I want to say last July I put out a song called The Henny 2. It was
Okay.
a follow-up. I'm like, nah, the first one was cool, but this is it. This is the fucking one.
Right.
That shit was crazy. If you go and look up The Henny 2, look at that video. That's the one that's half black light and half like studio.
Okay. Okay.
Fire.
Anything new coming out 2021 from this point on forward?
I'm working on some features out here in Cali.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So stay tuned.
I'm working with different artists, big artists, you know what I mean? Like really good artists that everybody in Cali fucks with. I'm talking with them, you know, we just sent over a deposit. We working on shit. I got my ears out here. Yesterday I was at the Summer Nights Festival. That shit was fire. There was a lot of good fucking artists there, you feel me? Like,
Yeah.
I met a bunch of people. I met CNG. Ray Monique was there. She's on the show, right? Ray Monique Fire.
Right.
I met a lot of people, bro. It was dope. It was cool.
That'll work.
But it was good to see everybody united, really, like
Yes.
doing this shit together. You feel me? Because I feel like we don't have a voice out in the main industry. You feel me? So like what they've been doing is like, fuck that. We don't need that shit. We do our own shit. And that's what the fuck they've been doing. And I'm like, that's the attitude I have for my shit.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing half English, half Spanish. Is that a genre? Is that a category? That shit doesn't exist.
Right.
That's not a thing. You feel me? So I'm like, nah, bro. Like, I like that energy. I fucks with that. So
Yeah.
that kind of brought me over to Cali. I'm like, you know what? Let me see what that's about.
That's dope. That's dope.
So, yeah, man.
So now my last question is, because we come to the end of our interview, any shout outs?
Man, everybody has been showing love out here, bro. You know what I mean? We just came back from a store, that Young LA. You feel me? So I love supporting businesses that are starting up, because if they got a dope idea, dope concept, you know what I mean? Like, I believe in that shit. That's dope. Nobody believed in me when I was starting. Nobody was like, yo, bro, you got this. Do it. Let me help you out. Let me give you some money for the video. Nobody helped me with shit. I had to create that confidence on my own. It took so many losses to create that confidence. You feel me? That if I could go to a store and be like, yo, bro, your shit is fire. Your shit is dope. It's like, all right, that's inspiring. You feel me? Like, that's fire as fuck.
Yeah.
So we just came back from there. We bought mad shit. It was dope. They showed mad love. That was dope. Shout out to my boy Long Beach Carlos. You feel me? You got to show the nightcap bootleg. We was there shooting. We was freestyling with Gutter and Kiki Smooth the other day.
Okay.
Not Kiki Smooth, but I'm doing a freestyle with Kiki Smooth tomorrow.
Okay.
Compton. You already know Brooklyn to Compton. You know the vibes.
Yeah, he'll be here. He'll be back.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, soon.
That's fire. But yeah, man. What else? Shout out to Erica. Shout out to Bella, Drea, my graphic designer, my video guy, Nick Just Fly. He needs like 5 people to reach 2K. So if you go Nick _ Just Fly, get my man his 2,000 followers. You feel me? Nah, but shout out to my moms. I'm gonna say some words to my moms real quick.
Go for it.
Damn, bro, I can't be emotional on this shit. All right. Yo, mami, aquí estamos vivo con Tony A. Ya sabes, muchas gracias por todo lo que hizo, pa también. That's my family, bro. They really, really, really hold me down, like, for real. It was just me and my sisters. My dad always working, but, you know, he had to do that. He has to, bro. It's hard out here for a person to come without papers to really fucking, like, put food on the table for a whole family. That's a lot. That's asking a lot. And he did his thing.
Awesome. And now you're doing your thing, just like him.
Hell yeah.
He
They
did
gave
his
me an
thing.
opportunity, bro. It's because they work so hard that I could work on my shit.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to come from that. You feel me? Like,
Yeah.
I came from that shit.
Oh,
My
good,
parents
my
only
brother.
speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Shit, nigga, you best believe I'm a fucking major in psychology and know my fucking English. You feel me? Because if somebody talk shit to my moms, I'm like, the fuck you said? Like, nah, let's talk about it. What's up?
Right.
And this happened a few times. Like, nah, bro. Especially like, you know, like if there's people out there like on the app and they just came from Mexico, they just came from Ecuador, they don't really know English, and the clerk is giving them attitude. I'm like, nah, hold on, I got you. What's up? I'll translate for her. I'm always like that.
Right.
You know, my mom told me to be that way.
Yeah.
You feel me? So yeah, shout out to my parents, man, to my sisters. Shout out to, you know, everybody out here that's been showing love, bro. Cali's
Brooklyn,
beautiful.
stand up, man.
For real.
All
Shout
good,
out to
my
Tony
brother.
A for having me on the fucking show,
Thank you,
man.
my brother.
First of many. You already know the
Thank
vibes,
you.
man.
Thank
Come
you,
on.
bro. Next time you're out here, hit me up, okay?
I got you.
Okay.
For sure. Oh, and by the way, that fucking video you directed was fire, bro.
Oh, you enjoyed that?
Dude, I was talking with my boy Nick. He's the one that's been out here with the, you know, he does graphic design and
Yeah.
videos and everything. He was like, bro, that black and white, that shit is different. That shit is different. He was like, that was, you could tell, like, it's so reminiscent of like the 90s. You feel
Yeah.
me? Not just the song, but the visuals matched it.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like that whole
Thank you.
shit where he did with like the Tupac shit. I was like, oh, Mr. D fucking killed that shit.
And we did it
for that to be a debut video.
Yes. And we did it at the same location where Tupac did it.
What? Damn. You see, that's what I'm talking about. That shit is
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. Those are
Thank
small
you, man.
details that not everybody notices, but that's your project, and you know what you want in your project, and you have a vision, and you have it. So people know, and they realize, they're like, oh shit. But you know you did your part to pay homage.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Exactly.
Like, and I
To
feel like
Pac and Easy.
that's a fact. And that's what people are lacking, paying homage.
Yeah.
I know where I came from, I know where hip hop came from, and I know where I'm going.
All good,
Feel
man.
me?
Thank you, my brother.
Yo, I appreciate you. Thank you, man.
Check this out, everybody. Once again, Brooklyn Stand Up. Jay Bliss is in the motherfucking building, and GPA just walked in. So make sure you call somebody, text somebody, slap the shit out of somebody, let them know that GPA is in the motherfucking building. San Diego, we in the building. We'll be back.
we jump. Power move on 'em.
If you mess with me,
Hey, Tony, drop that. What bass?
I bet.
My name is the Croft, the C-R-A-W-F-O-R-D, the poet high C. Tony A, the wizard, just as cool as a blizzard, sticking out a tongue, stabbing pussy like a lizard. Ooh, so sorry, homie, I didn't mean to say that. Steve is in the house, come on, won't you play that funky dope beat? You know you gotta throw me some Stanley's ass Croft, coming straight from the Roadium.
You are now about to witness
Tony A.
Get funky.
Tell her where you from.
You don't think I'm living? Well, fuck you.
Cruising on a Saturday night in LA. Yo, feeling kinda funky.
Stop what you're doing, cause I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you used to. What the hell are you looking for? Can a young man make money anymore? Wear my jewels and like freaking on the floor? Or is it my job to make sure I'm poor? Disruption's is horrible, nourish not justify. Those that live at the FBI, look at mama's baby.
Welcome back, everyone, to Rodeium Radio episode 180. And my next guest is one of those rare, special guests that a lot of people request. One of these guests that a lot of people consider and call a legend. He is from the city of San Diego. And first of all, I want to say, San Diego Stand Up. For me, it's truly an honor and a pleasure to have this man sitting across from me. A lot of people have requested him. And I just believed that it was time. I reached out to him. We set a date, and now he's here. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. So without further ado, please allow me to introduce, all the way from San Diego, California, GPA.
What's up, everybody?
How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good, good, good. You know what? A couple of things I want to bring up before we actually dive into our interview. There are a few people that I could probably count like this out of 180 episodes that I've done, that I posted up their flyer and not one negative comment ever appeared.
It's pretty good.
Like not one. And I'm going like this.
Yeah.
You're probably like number 6.
Dope.
I've had people that, you know, people have said, oh, this guy's a lame, or this guy's idiot, or that girl can't rap. Or I posted yours up, San Diego in the building, he's a legend, he spits fire, all positive. All positive. And you know what? I'm excited that you're here.
Right on.
But it's just one thing that I want to cover before we actually get into it. It's something that we talked on the phone, and I reached out. Actually, I want to thank Alonso, because he connected us together. And I called you, we talked, and you said what you had to say, and I said what I had to say. A while back, I had an episode here where somebody called and said, how come you don't ever interview GPA? And I said this. I said, well, why would I interview him? He only has one song. That's what I said. Mm-hmm. The reason why I said that is because whenever I would do my homework on certain artists, there were certain people that I would call and ask about them. Hey, man, what do you think about this guy? You know? And I called this one individual up and I said, hey, what do you think about this guy? You know, people say he's a legend. What do you think? Yeah. And this person, you know, he just said, well, all he has is one song. And that's to say the least, to leave everything out. All he has is one song. He has one song? Yeah. Why are you going to interview him for one song? Yeah. So I should not have taken this person's word for it. And I should have just did my own research, but I didn't. So when this one individual called and said, how come you don't interview GP? I said, well, the guy only has one song. Mm-hmm. So later on, I did my homework and I realized that wasn't the case. Yeah. So we talked, and I just wanted to reiterate what I told you over the phone, that I misjudged you by listening to this one person telling me you had one song. And I told you as a man, I said, I'm sorry for saying that.
Yep, I appreciate it.
You know, I didn't want to say my bad or I dropped the ball, or I wanted to say like a man, I'm sorry, because I should have just did my own research. And then I feel like more like a goofy ass dumbass because when I played that song that you did with Shadow and I heard your lyrical content, the way you were flipping words, I'm not gonna lie to you. In my head, I said, I fucked up.
That was song number 2, right?
Exactly. I was like, holy shit. I will say this, there's very few people that I would say this about. That when I hear them rap, immediately I can tell, and this is not to put anyone down, seriously, but this guy's a natural.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And to confirm that, I interviewed the Mistas,
Yeah.
Little One, Shadow here, and both of them said, that guy is a legend. Okay?
Yeah.
And I know those words humble you,
Yeah.
and you many times we don't want to accept those kind of words. I get it. But I just want to reiterate what was said. So now, with that being said, I'm thankful you're here, man.
Thank you, man. Yeah, they're my bros. The word legend gets tossed around a lot with my name. Me and the homie Omar were driving up on the way up and we were talking about it. And I don't see myself as a legend because my time in the music industry was very short.
Right.
But like I was telling you earlier, the impact my music had once social media and YouTube hit, you start seeing comments and it gets, around the world, man. And to see that, it's like, cool. It was the time or the things that I went through wasn't for nothing, right? But at the end of the day, when it comes to legendary status, I think it's more of a mystery status because nobody knew what I looked like. If you knew me, you knew me. I'm not the kind of dude that will walk into a room and say, hey, what's up, man? I'm GPA.
Right.
You get my real name first or my nickname first, and at that point, somebody else is going to say, hey, you know who that is? Or the song will come on the radio, or I walk into a coffee shop and my song GPA as the name comes on and like, hey, that's him. I'm not that guy. I've never been that guy. At a point, it might be to a fault. I think I probably could have done that more during my time, self-promoting.
Right.
But it's just that's not the kind of cat I am. I like to get in the room. I like to sit in the corner. I like to read everybody, stay quiet, and I see how the room functions, and that's how I get down.
Yeah.
And then I can get somebody's truthful opinion about a song that comes on. The song will come on. Hey, how you like that song? Oh, it sucked. Cool, thanks. That was me. And I don't take it personal.
Right.
My drive is the next time is to make that person like one of the songs I had. And it's happened it's happened big time.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. And I know I already said San Diego, but I just have to ask because some people would say, I was raised in San Diego, but I was born over here. Are you originally from San Diego?
Born and raised in San Diego, California. I grew up in a neighborhood called Paradise Hills. Shout out to everybody from Paradise Hills. My dad was born in Logan Heights, but then they landed up moving to Paradise Hills a little bit after he was born. The grandparents on my dad's side, both born and raised in San Diego. On my mom's side, everybody's from up here in LA, Baldwin Park, El Monte, and Whittier. And then going back to like my great grandparents, on my mom's side, I only know one side. My great grandparents, they're from Arizpe and Cananea and Sonora.
Okay.
And then on my tata's side, on my dad's side, they're from Zacatecas and Aguascaliente. And then my grandma, her dad and all them, they're from Tijuana. And I don't really know where they came from,
right?
After that. But so I'm like a 4th, 5th generation Chicano.
Okay. Yeah. And you come from a big family, a lot of brothers and sisters?
I'm an only child.
Really?
I'm an only child. I was the only grandkid for 12 years.
You got all the gifts?
Yeah, I got all the gifts for a little bit. I also went through stuff by myself.
Okay.
So the story here, we'll just jump right into it. So my mom and dad met each other when they were young. My dad was probably, I think said he was like 18. My mom was like 16 or 14. And then around the time when they were like 20, 21, my mom got pregnant. And my dad was a musician. My dad was a guitar player. Great guitar player. Probably one of the best guitar players that I've ever listened to in my life. And I listen to music a lot. So my dad had his own music career that he was trying to get off the ground. He was playing in clubs and, going on the road and doing whatnot. So having a kid in the mix of that kind of puts a strain on the relationship.
Yeah.
Right. So, so around the time I think I was like 4 or 5 years old, my mom and dad, they split up. And so I spent the majority of the time with my mom, and I would see my dad here and there, but my mom works, so when my mom was at work, she would drop me off at my dad's mom's house, my grandma's house, and I pretty much grew up there. So that's where Paradise Hills. That's where I grew up. So I have aunts and uncles. I have an aunt that's 7 years older than me, so we grew up more like brother and sister.
Yeah.
Than an aunt. Shout out to my aunt Antoinette, by the way. So growing up as a kid, I was that kind of kid where you could let me go outside and I could play for 12 hours. And my main thing, and that was even going back to when I got older, was like, I got to be home. Well, for one, when I was younger, I had to be home before the street lights came on, or I guess my ass whooped. But if not, I had to be home no matter what. So I spent a lot of time, kind of solo in my own head, doing my own thing. As I started getting older, I had no brothers and sisters around, so I started gravitating to a group of kids that we grew up with in the neighborhood, and we all kind of had the same background, broken home. A parent was on drugs. My parents weren't on drugs, but they had that same thing. So we're all, vagos. We were able to run and do whatever. So that's kind of that was kind of my growing up and my upbringing at that point.
Okay. So, and at that point, with your mother and your father, I like to ask this question because it kind of gives me a picture, sometimes it does, of what shape did it mold you as far as musically. What type of music did your mother and your father play as you growing up?
Oh, everything. I got exposed to everything. My grandma's house, like Jose Alfredo Jimenez, Ramon Ayala, Vicente Fernandez, Pedro Infante, like stuff like that stuff. But my grandma, she was young. Like, I think when I was born, my grandma was probably like 46, 47. And they liked soul music. So my grandma loved like Junior Walker and All Stars, Tower Power. My tata is a big Chicago fan.
Awesome.
So he liked that. He liked some Ray Charles. So I grew, and then my uncle Squeaky, he collects. He was a record guy. He's still a record guy. So I would hear like Tina Marie, Cameo, Roger Troutman, Ozone, like all these old school records. So growing up, they'd have house parties. They'd have Christmas at my nana's house, and it was like, we're gonna put Tower Power on for the next 4 hours, and then after that, we're gonna we're gonna put on a little bit of James Brown and a little bit of Smokey Robinson, and then when everybody gets really pedo, then we're gonna start putting on some Mexican music, and
so
then
we can all start crying.
Yeah, and then my nana and her sister Norma, they used to sing and harmonize, so they were really good singers. But it was on a very rare occasion they would do that.
Right.
So music has been in my family. I mean, I had a cousin, my cousin Chato, George Ruiz. I don't know if the crowd, the people that are watching may be too young. So my cousin George was a guitar player for Wolfman Jack's oldie review.
Of course, Wolfman Jack.
So he used to tour the world with Wolfman Jack. He was Wolfman Jack's guitar player. I want to say like late 60s, early 70s.
Wolfman Jack had that voice.
Yeah, like he drank too much whiskey. And then I had my cousin Armando. He had a group called the Smith Brothers, and they toured the world too. A couple of stories that I had, I guess they were playing up in a hotel in Hollywood, and they were in the big room. I guess I don't know what hotel it was, but they had these big halls, and they were in the big room, so they were like the main event. And LTD was playing in like the room over, and I forgot what other group they said it was playing, and those groups ended up being, they had hit records.
Yeah.
And then another story was, I guess they were playing in a club in Honolulu, and Stevie Wonder walks in and played drums with his band. And they wanted my cousin Armando to play guitar for him.
Wow!
So I have musical history, at least going like there. Those were my dad's influences to be a guitar player.
Wow!
And then they've always, they're always around trying to kick game.
Yeah.
So they got good stories.
You ever play any instruments growing up? I
played drums for a little bit. I could play keyboard a little bit. I could play guitar a little bit. My problem is I don't want to put the work in.
Yeah.
I want to, what I'm saying? I don't want to learn Mary Had a Little Lamb. I want to get on there and play like More Bounce Than an Ounce. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to play Overjoyed by Stevie Wonder. Like that's the kind of dude I am. So it really didn't attract me. The one that attracted me the most was drums, because drums is kind of like the base for everything. Yeah. My Uncle Richard kind of gave me some lessons, and one of my other Uncle Squeaky, he played drums too.
Right.
I got a cousin Paul. That's an awesome trumpet player. So there's a lot of music in my family.
I understand that you're a vinyl collector.
Oh yeah, I love vinyl.
Do you remember, because when I received my first vinyl, I was in 4th grade. Mm-hmm. Do you remember when you bought your first, or you received your first vinyl where you said, wow, this is mine?
My Aunt Antoinette, she got me 2. She got me Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh, the show.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But it had Lottie Dottie. It was the single. It was a 12-inch single. And then I got Toddy T, Bataram.
The Bataram.
I got those two. I was 9 years old. I didn't know what the hell a Bataram was. I thought we were talking about the character on was it He-Man and Masters of the Universe? Yeah.
Wow. But the show. Oh
yeah. Lottie Dottie hit me more.
Okay. I got a quick Lottie Dottie story. I was in Santa Ana and I was DJing. This is, I want to say, whenever the record came out in 85 or 86.
It was 85.
Okay. I remember my friend kept playing, play Lottie Dottie. And I'm thinking, there's no damn beat. You know, it was just beatboxing.
Yeah.
So, you know, it goes, boo, 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 Lottie Dottie. I just threw them up again like that and the fucking crowd erupted, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Big ass hit. We don't even need a beat. Just beatbox.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it, bro.
I remember I liked it because I liked Dougie Fresh and Beat Street.
Yes.
Because when they brought him out with the Fabulous
and
Treacherous 3 or
Kumo
whatever.
D.
Kumo D. Ho, ho, ho. Open up your door. Yeah. I liked it. I already knew who Dougie Fresh was because of that movie when I saw it. And then I remember the show being on the radio.
Right.
Then I flipped it over.
Joe was G.I. Gay.
Yeah. I flipped it over and Lottie Dottie comes on and it was like porn.
Yeah.
It was like porn to me.
Yeah. You would have an orgasm.
Yeah. I was like, oh shit. Okay. So then, you know, in school, to be the cool kid who remembers the lyrics. That's another thing too. I've always remembered lyrics since I was probably like 3 or 4 years old.
Really?
So my dad used to have a band practice at the house. And this was like, I think I was 3 years old because Commodore's Brick House had just came out. Mm-hmm. And so I was 3 or 4. That was my favorite record. My mom says that in order for me to take a nap, she'd have to put that on and get those big headphones. And I go to sleep and I listen to it front and back and then I take a nap.
Damn.
So I guess his band was learning the song. And they forgot lyrics. So they woke me up to ask me what the lyrics were because they couldn't find the record. And from the story goes, I don't remember this, that I started telling them what the lyrics were. I was telling them they were playing the horn part wrong and that the song starts like this and it should end like that at 3 years old. So lyrics for me have always been something that I memorize when it comes to listening to music.
Do you remember, before I ask you, I'll tell you mine. Obviously, it was Rapper's Delight. I was in 6th grade. Or 5th grade, the first memory of you listening to rap, and what song was it, if you can remember?
Well, Lottie Dottie, Bataram. I remember that I got the On Bad record. I think I was 12.
From LL.
Yeah, I got the On Bad record, and I got DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Rock the House.
Rock the House.
Was it the?
I think that was the album.
Yeah, it was. It was called Rock the House, but they had that song where Jazzy Jeff played the I Dream of Jeannie beat. Mm-hmm. That was dope. I like the production on it, but the LL Cool J, you know, no rapper could rap quite like I can. I take a muscle-bound man and put his face in the sand. I was like, shit, I want to be tall. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit, it came out hard, right? So
of course.
That captivated me. And then after that, you know, I just started kind of listening to Yo MTV raps, you know, Cool G rap, you know, Third Base, Kwame. It was really, that was like, I wasn't buying records then, but I was just watching.
Right.
And like, okay, I remember they had, what was the name of the show? There was like this fundraiser that they had on pay-per-view, and they were having like, I think 3 different venues around the United States where they went live. So they had like, they had the West, there was one in West Coast, the one in New York, and there was someplace else where they had all these different acts. So that's the first time I seen Everlast singing I Got the Knack.
Right.
I seen even Zeus was on there. He was in his character.
Yeah.
Tiny Lister, he was on there as a character.
Which is Debo.
Yeah, Debo. And there was all these different acts. I saw like, what did I see? They had Heavy D and the Boys. They had not Ice-T, they had King T.
Yeah.
So there was all these different acts. So I was like, oh shoot, there's more to this game than Yo MTV raps. But the record that this is the shit was I came up here to visit some family. We stopped at a swap meet, and I got Easy Does It.
Oh wow!
And I put that in. They didn't know what it was. Put it in my headphones. I used to have a Walkman all the time. I listened to everything, and man, talk about eye-opening experience.
Yeah.
Just the first song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the one that caught my eye out of all of them was Easier Said Than Done.
Yeah.
I memorized those lyrics. That's when I knew I could carry a beat and I could rap.
Yo, man, I don't think they heard what you're saying.
Done it with the Rufus Thomas sample, yeah.
Yes. I don't know if you've ever seen the Mr. D video.
Yeah, that's when I heard, I was like, oh shit, that's the shit right there.
Yeah, bro.
That song, like literally, like I would play it over and over and over
Yeah.
and over again. So I think when that came out, I was around 13 years old.
Wow. You know what? And I just want to say a big rest in peace to Eazy-E. I know they're coming out with I'm not sure if it's a documentary or something.
Yeah.
About, I think his daughter explaining his death or
Yeah,
whatnot.
I'm seeing a little controversy on that too, because
Yeah.
I think like DJ Speed is like kind of saying, well, that's not the person that should be doing it, and I don't know. At the end of the day, I think I've talked about this with my buddy ALR. Shout out to ALR. Was the thing that gets me the most is that Easy, that's a legend to me.
Yeah, of course.
And Ruthless Records is not here. Ruthless Records should be timeless. Like you still have Death Row selling records. Ruthless Records should be still selling records. Like when I go looking for an old out of print, we just had an event at my homie's coffee shop last weekend, and somebody was buying a Ruthless record vinyl, and I was like, hey, make sure it's got the Ruthless label on it, because a lot of the reprints don't have it.
Right.
And it's a shame, because his legacy should live forever, because he started it all, man.
Of course, absolutely. And I had the honor and the pleasure to have worked with him.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful for that, man. Wow, man. Wow. Okay, where do I go with this? Because I had something that I was going to bring up, and it was some old school shit. But like, okay, vinyl, you've been collecting vinyl, you would say, for how many years now?
So actually, like getting back into the vinyl game, I want to say like 5-6 years ago.
Okay.
I collected vinyl, but once my era started collecting vinyl, CDs hit really, really hard.
Right.
So at that point, I was probably, when I really started buying CDs, I want to say it was like 1990. So I was about 15 years old.
Okay.
I remember I bought MC Breed, Ain't No Future in Your Frontin'.
Oh, yeah.
And the MC Breed and the DFC. That was the shit then. And then I just started buying stuff. But then that's kind of when San Diego rap started really hitting.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
So I remember seeing a lot of like LA being promoted and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, and I'm a Raider fan. So my family would give me crap because I'd always have a LA Raider hat or whatever. And you from LA? No, I'm from San Diego, but I like the Raiders.
Right.
And I remember being in 8th grade. I was about 13 years old. And one of my homies on the bus was like, hey, you want to buy my cousin's tape? And it was a group called Legion of Doom from South San Diego. And the thing that caught my eye is because at that point in rap, it was all LA. So you saw Dodger, you seen Raiders. Everybody was, proud of the city. And these dudes were on the front of the tape, all in Padre gear. And I was like, that's dope.
Yeah.
And being from the part of town I'm from, they're talking about San Isidro and all that stuff, but it wasn't, I didn't even care because they were repping Dago. So I bought that tape. I think I bought it for $5. Mm-hmm. And I played that on rotation because it was on some shit, man. And I think the following year is when the following year or the year after, I hit high school. And this dude came up to us in high school, and he was selling a tape by the Green Eyes, which is another Southeast rapper, a legend. That dude's a legend. So he had this single called The Struggle Is On. And anybody from San Diego, Southeast San Diego, knows that's like a Southeast classic. I bought that tape. And then, okay, cool. And then that's when the San Diego rap started picking up. You had groups like Prime Suspect, Without a Warning, Aztec Tribe. Even Little Rob was out at that time.
Yeah.
You had, Partners in Rhyme. You had EMP. There's Without a Warning. What else did you have? Gangsta Earn, IBM. Even like hood rap started happening around the area. There was Bulldog from 38, who even if you weren't from Shouttown, you'd have one of his tapes bumping it because he was making it.
Yeah. I read a quote years ago, and it said this. It said, music, and I hope I'm quoting it right. It said, music, there are some music that will make you forget everything, and then there are some music that will make you remember everything.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Today I took a little nap, about 30-minute nap before we started the interview, and I woke up and I was feeling like, I was just like, oh, those naps that you feel like you wake up sweaty. I wish you would not have taken one of those exhausting naps.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I did, I just went on my phone, I turned on my JBL speaker, and I turned on my Bluetooth, and I put on one song, and I hadn't heard this song in years, It gave me the goosebumps, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it woke me right up. And I'm sure you probably had this kind of experiences.
Yeah.
The other way, love is in the house.
Oh, yeah.
Heavy D.
Yeah.
I don't know why I wanted to hear that damn song, bro. But when that shit came on, the kick and the snare, and then the horns came on.
Yeah. I like, was it a Chub Rock, just the two of us? That song's hard.
Chub Rock was it. I told her Chub Rock.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Chub Rock's a cool dude, man. I like Chub Rock. Man, that's, fuck, you brought up so many damn memories, bro.
Yeah. So even then, during that time, that was like, it was heavy sending Big June, CC. I even put up my list here so I didn't forget because, you know, these people get some shine. Yeah, Baby Scar. You had 702, LPSD. Steve Vicious, which VMF was producing a lot of the dude's tracks at that time. Lancey was producing a lot of people's tracks at that time. And this is early 90s. I got vinyl and that's the thing too. I've been fortunate enough to track down vinyl for that. So I have LOD, I have Legion of Doom, I have the Green Eyes, I have Prime Suspect. I'm looking for the Gangsta Urn. Gangsta Urn is a very rare vinyl. I know somebody that has it. They're not trying to sell it, and I wouldn't sell it either. But I searched. I've been searching. Been searching for it.
I've been searching.
Yeah.
That'll work, man. Okay, now, at what point in your life did you say, I want to try to do this rap thing?
When I heard Easier Said Than Done.
Okay, when you heard that, now let me ask you this. Did rapping, this might be kind of a, for some people they say, nah, man, I had to get good. For some people say I was a natural. Now, because for me, when it came to DJing, I truly believe I picked it up just like that, bro. Like, it came natural to me. For some people, I actually taught them, and they couldn't get the mechanics of boom, 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 boom. They just couldn't get it. Mm-hmm. You know, it was always like, they just couldn't understand it. But for me, it's like, so I was a natural. When it came time for rapping for you, could you say it came easy for you?
Well, I started writing first.
Okay.
So I had wrote from like, I started writing when I was 13. And I think it was all bullshit because I was trying to be something that I'm not, because that's what was
right.
The music I was listening to they were about the business I wasn't, right? So starting to rap, write, and I would do stuff by myself, never really to a beat. And then I hit high school. I met one of my best friend, Pedro Overa. Shout out to Pedro. I met him in 10th grade English class.
Okay.
And me and him, like, we kind of started talking. He's from another part of Southeast that my neighborhood doesn't get along with, but we clicked, right?
Yeah.
And so we used to swap oldie tapes because one of my older homies from the neighborhood used to make these mixtapes and put the echo and stuff on it. So, hey, check out this oldie tape, and I'll check that oldie tape out.
Let me interject. What is it about echo that we love so much?
Hey, oldies, that shit is tight.
It is.
I don't know what it is. As I got older, I shouldn't say this, but as I got older, it sounded good with Wet Daddies, but I don't know what it is. I don't know what it was then, but it sounded good.
Yeah.
It sounded like, when you, especially like, was it the dramatic song? I want to go outside in the rain. And it was like, yeah, that shit's really raining on the song, right?
Yeah.
So me and him started chopping it up, and there was some dude in the class that we didn't like. He was he was a punk, man. And so Pedro knew that I rap, that I was trying to rap, so we used to write diss raps about him.
Okay.
So I used to write crap, and we used to laugh about it. Long story short, I got into some shit at school. I got kicked out, and I ended up having to go home. I got essentially put on house arrest, quote unquote. I couldn't go anywhere, and so that's how I met the homie Omar here.
Okay.
And so we chopped it up. Omar was the DJ rapper. We had another homie named Mark that his dad had a bunch of records, and I had still not rapped out in public, but I got instrumental, and I ended up getting the Green Eyes, The Struggle Is On instrumental.
Okay.
And I didn't have my dad had recording equipment, but I couldn't find it. So back then I had my own phone with an answering machine. So I got my radio, I got my answering machine, I unplugged the phone so I didn't get the dial tone, and I rapped into the phone. So I had it on one of those little ass tapes. So I remember my dad had one of those recorders that you can take memos on.
Yeah.
And so I was walking around showing everybody that tape. Hindsight, looking back, I think I sucked. Right? Because I did get some like, it's all right. Oh, it's okay. Oh, it's all right. And the other homies were like, oh, it's pretty good. But thinking about how I was writing and being really stiff on the mic, I wasn't ready. And I was telling my wife this, and I don't want to digress, but I was telling my wife this. I think that's one of the issues that newer artists have right now because they have all those resources at hand.
Yes.
They record their first one and then they post it on YouTube, right? Dude, if I would have posted that on YouTube, I probably wouldn't even be here right now, bro, honestly.
I know, yeah.
And so at that point, when I got that first feedback, I was like, okay, I got to work on my shit. So what happened was I found my dad. My dad had a Tascam Porta 1 studio.
Of course, that's what I did my mixtapes on.
Metal one, right?
Yeah.
So what I did is I went to Mark's house and I recorded instrumentals. I think it was like Flashlight and More Bounce and Bounce Rock Skate. There was a Genius of Love, but it wasn't by Tom Tom Club. It was the
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, I had that. You know, all those instruments. Smurfy's Dance.
Yeah.
So in that summer, it was summertime. So in that summer, I think I recorded about 63 songs, just one after the other. At that time, I didn't even have a name yet, so I never said who I was on the mic.
Right, right.
So the reason why that ended is because I ended up burning out the tape recorder. And my dad, and it was funny too, because my dad bought it and he never really used it. And all it was doing was collecting dust. So I wore it out. So what I used to do is I used to put the instrumental on track 1 and 2 to have it stereo. And then 3 and 4, I'd have my lead vocal and I'd do an ad lib.
Yeah.
So I had a 4-track. And so I did that for a little bit. It was all right, cool. And I think at that point, that's when I felt that I was starting getting better. But I still hadn't rapped in public. Like my personal family didn't know I rapped.
We're going to press pause right there. We're going to come right back, and I want you to tell us when you first rapped in public.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay.
That's a good story.
Okay, everybody, make sure you call somebody, text somebody, slap the shit out of somebody, let them know that GPA is in the motherfucking house. San Diego, stand up. Much love, much respect to you guys. 10 minutes, and we'll be back.
High C and Tony A, chilling at the Roadium with my homeboy Steve. Be on the lookout for our new 12-inch, the shit is dope. Yo, I like to say what's up to my homeboy Dre, my homeboy Prince of Jazz, and the girls with the big ol' ass. So Trip, I'm about to bust one more time to let y'all niggas know just what's on my mind.
In the morning, police at my door. Fresh Adidas squeak across my bathroom floor. Out my back window, I make my escape. Didn't even get a chance to grab my old school tape. Mad with no music, but happy cause free. And the street to a player is the place to be. Got a knot in my pocket weighing at least a grand.
Y'all heard, take it from the top.
Get that shit, new chop. Put a power move on 'em.
If you mess with me,
And welcome back, everyone, to Rodeium Radio episode 180. And we're going to go ahead and jump right back into it with none other than GPA.
AKA the Sasquatch.
A.K.A. the Sasquatch.
Yeah.
So you believe in Bigfoot?
Yeah, you're looking at him.
All right. I believe we finally got him.
Got me in my out of captivity.
Interview with Sasquatch.
There you
Let's go.
No doubt.
Okay, so now you were talking about you had been rapping, but you had not been rapping in front of anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Lead us up to how did it happen when you said, okay, I'm finally about to bust in front of someone?
So I'll go back a little bit. So
Okay.
my buddy Pedro,
Okay.
who has he doesn't rap, doesn't do anything
Okay.
like that, said, hey, let's start a rap group. I got the DJ, I got another rapper, you're another rapper, let's do it. So we started a group called Southeast Clan.
Okay.
So it was myself, the homie Omar, and then the homie Mark was our DJ because he had all the records.
Yes.
So I think the most we ever did, we did 2 songs, Omar. I think we did 2 songs, and that's when the Tascam was still working. So we recorded a little something. We never went out and did anything until Pedro invited me to a party.
Okay.
Pedro thought he was he thought he was the manager of the group, right? I remember one time I got to tell the story. I remember one time we were in Mark's little garage and we're playing records and we're practicing or whatever, and Pedro was on this couch smoking a cigarette like this. And Omar was trying to record his part, and he kept having problems, fumbling over the words. And then Pedro was all like, you know what? You need to breathe a little more. Just go ahead and breathe and let it out. I'm like, who are you, Barry Gordy, man? Like, what the hell do you think you are, dog? Like, leave us alone. Let us do our thing.
Right.
So Pedro was always that dude that would like, hey, we're gonna do this. So he invited me to a party one day, and he was with the girl, so he wanted to impress her. And so we're at the party, and they had a DJ playing, and he walks up to the DJ, talking to him, and I was like, this dude's gonna request a song or something to dance with the girl. He comes back and says, hey, you're gonna go rap in about 5 minutes. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I talked to the dude, you're gonna go rap in 5 minutes. All right. So I get up there, and there was another dude about to rap as well, and I looked at him, and he looked really familiar to me, but I couldn't place the face. So I couldn't tell you what I rapped. I couldn't tell you what beat they played. What I do know is that there was a light at the corner of the garage that I was staring at because I was so nervous. And that was like, I couldn't look anybody in the eye. I wasn't going to rock the crowd. I wasn't going to do any of that. I just didn't want to look like a total ass, forgetting my lyrics, walking off because I couldn't stay on beat. Like I was just nervous. So I looked at a light, and that's what I rapped at. So I remember I got it done. Homies were like, cool. So the dude lands up coming back and talking to me. And Atlanta being somebody that I went to school with, he was like a senior and I was a sophomore at Morris. We went to Morris together in graphic arts class. Well, we never did anything. We used to always draw and like toss stuff back and forth. So Atlanta being my homie MRT, Mauricio Tirado, rest in peace MRT. We lost him last year. Solid dude, man. So he was like, hey, I know you. I'm like, yeah, I know you too. I'm like, oh shoot, Mr. Ernst graphic arts class. He's like, yeah, man, I got the DJ, which was a dude named Renee. They called him DJ Fade. And he's like, he's got a setup and the whole nine. Let's do that. So the group that we had kind of fizzled just because we weren't really doing much with it. And so I started hanging out with the homie MRT. And so we landed up going to the dude DJ Fade's house. And we did the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde we had that beat, and we did a song called Rhyme of the 619. And after I did that in public rapping, it was like, okay, now we're gonna go start, and we're gonna start doing some shit, right?
Right.
MRT played a big part in me getting out of my shell, because he was a dude that was always on the go.
Okay.
Mobbing his car, we go bumping, we're going to parties, we're going to do all this stuff, and that's what we did. We got to a party, where's the DJ? Hey, they got a mic? Cool. And then we hit up the microphone, and we do our little routine, sit back down, you know, get all level-headed and do our thing. So my family his family started to know me really well because I started hanging out with them a lot, and they all had copies of that tape. Just this past, I think like 2 weeks ago, one of his cousins hit me up and they asked me about what that instrumental was. And I told them that, and they were all at the cousin's house or something like that, and they were rapping that. They were rapping MRT's verse because they remember that. I don't remember it.
Right.
And so all his family knew about it. So they invited me to like a family party or quinceañera or something, right? And so we get there, and I brought my aunt and my cousin and a couple of their friends, and they're on the DJ's on the mic and says, "Hey, we got a song by MRT." Now, already at that time, I came up with GPA because I needed a name, and GPA is the letters of my name, so that's what started it, right? So the MRT and GPA.
Say that again. GPA
is the letters of my name.
Letters of your name. Okay.
Yeah. So they're like GPA and MRT, Gilbert and Mauricio, and my aunt looks at me. She's like, "That's you?" And I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "You rap?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Pretty good." So we partied the rest of the night. We ended up going partying in front of my cousin's house and drinking and stuff. She goes, "Hey, put that song on again." And at that point, they played the song on the tape, and she's like, "You're really good. You should do something with it."
And this is up to Genius of Love as well.
The Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. So I did. He had a solo song. I had a solo song. I don't remember what his solo instrumental was. I know mine was more bounce to down, not more bounce to down. It's Bounce Rock Skate. The song I did was called Quick But Sick, and then we had the Rhyme of the 619 that we did together.
Right.
So we had three of them, and I mean, we went to house parties. There was like a under 18 club in North County, San Diego called Distillery East. We went out there. We used to rock the open mics there. We'd go to like open mics to different, like there's a place called in La Mesa called Broncos. It was like this place on Thursday night. It had a hip hop under 18 night. So we go there and do open mics. So we were putting in work.
So by this time you've already built up that confidence.
Yeah, I was a cocky dude, man. For my size, I was very cocky. But my cockiness was always inside. I'd step into the room. They're gonna have a rap battle. I'm gonna be the last dude on there, and I'm gonna rip shit up when they're done. That's just kind of like.
Did you already have that flipping that verse that I don't know what you would call it?
Tongue twist.
Tongue twist.
That didn't really happen until MC Ren's Final Frontier came out.
Okay.
That's the first time I heard tongue twisting. I'm a big MC Ren fan.
Okay.
And that was his solo EP release.
Yes.
After NWA. And when I heard Final Frontier, I was like, holy shit, that dude is ill. And so at that point, I was trying to figure out how to write. I tried to do it here and there, but I really didn't master it. So I really didn't do it out in public. I think I did it the first time when I recorded the Brownie GPA EP release, and we'll get there in a little bit.
Yeah.
But I was working on it, but I hadn't done it yet.
Okay.
So it was, we were doing it, man. We were definitely doing it.
And at that time, the feedback was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I had some so there was a girl I was talking to at the time where she was a big Aztec Tribe fan.
Right.
Aztec Tribe was big at that time. This
Okay.
was like 92, right? Around 92,
Yeah.
maybe early 93. So it was they were big. They had Dago Town out. That wasn't my style of music at the time,
Right.
because I was into the gangster. I was into Southeast rap. That was my influence. My big influence was Southeast rap.
Okay.
So she didn't like my rap, so I was like, whatever with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make this happen. So the feedback that I got from everybody else was like, yeah, it's pretty good. You're pretty good. So we never, Mauricio and I, MRT and I really never got a tape together to sell.
Okay.
So one day, I remember we were smoking chocolate tie. I remember this. We were smoking chocolate tie because it was great shit back in the day. We were smoking chocolate tie in his mom's yard. And he's like, I got something to tell you. And I'm like, what's up, man? He goes, I'm not going to rap anymore. And I was like, what? What do you mean? He's like, I'm over. I'm going to do something else. Are you sure, dog? I was like, yep. And he never rapped again.
Wow.
But he always stood in support of my music. That dude, that guy, like, I knew him since I was 14, 15 years old. So me and him, we, throughout almost everything, he was there. So he was still my friend, my biggest supporter, push it, do it, but he just wasn't my rap partner anymore.
Yeah.
And so that phased out. So then at that point, it was like, I'm not going to rap anymore.
Okay.
Not like how I thought, because nothing was working. We couldn't get in touch with the producer. People were putting out tapes. I thought we were the sickest ones out there, and we didn't have our chance. So by chance, I was friends with this other girl who had a boyfriend, and she introduced me to this dude. And I always, at the time, my life was kind of a little bit in turmoil. So I always was telling somebody like, I wish I could be a regular dude. Like, I wish I could not have these problems that I had and just be a regular dude. And when I met homeboy, he was that regular dude. I had never met anybody like that in my life. So it's my homie Brown, right? And he's an amazing artist. And come to find out, he rapped. And honestly, and I told Brown this, like, when I heard you rap, I was like, hey, you got a karaoke machine? Because I didn't have, at that time too, I had nothing to record on. So I wasn't like, it was kind of like there's nothing to do. I'm not going to rap to myself, right?
Right.
So he had a karaoke machine, and then he showed me some of his raps, and I was like, oh, you're pretty good, man. He had more of a, he wasn't like a gangster dude, anything like that, bro.
Right.
He was more on a hip hop tip. I mean, I heard about the Alcoholics from him and Hieroglyphics and Dale the Funky Homo Sapien. So he really introduced me to like the Fushnikians, and we'd go to underground hip hop parties with him. And I'd hear all these different types of hip hop that I wasn't exposed to. Yeah. So I was like, okay. So we started recording a little bit, and through him is how I met Shadow.
Okay.
So Shadow was probably like 11, 12, 13 years old.
Really?
And he was this little kid, right? And he was cool. And so I was like, hey, we need to start doing some rap. We need to rap. And Shadow was rapping at the time. I said, we need to do something, man. Let's do something. So I had an older homie from my neighborhood, my homie Snoopy from my neighborhood. Shout out to George. He was rapping, but he wasn't doing neighborhood raps anymore. He was trying to do, legit raps. So he called himself Double M. So I got in contact with them, and then it was like, we're all like kind of kicking it, and let's do something.
Right.
Cool. So we formed this group, and we came up with Negative Behavior. The story goes, I made up that name. I don't remember that, but we came up with the group called Negative Behavior.
Okay.
So it was myself, it was Brown, it was Double M, Shadow, and the homie Cartoon. The Cartoon's from Logan, so he was somebody we met through my cousin, and it was just kind of encompassed all these different worlds, right? So we were like, we're going to parties, we're rocking the house, you know what I mean? And somehow, some way, and nobody remembers how we met this dude. We had a meeting with this dude up in North County, and he was a producer. And we were drawn in heavily because dude was like, hey, I know this guy, I know that guy, and he's the one that told us that Eazy-E had a group that he just signed from Ohio, and they're going to be coming out soon. You should check out for them, which ended up being Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Yes.
And we didn't believe it until like a couple months later, because we met with them first and before we worked with them. So there was some time in between that, and every Friday I would go out and look for instrumentals because I was recording as much as I could.
Right.
That's when I seen the Bone Thugs and Harmony. I seen Eazy. It was Ohio, and I was like, hey, this dude's legit.
Right.
So we met up with him, and we let him go into this.
You met up with who?
The producer that we met. I don't know his name. Like Shadow and I have talked about it. We can't think of the dude's name. Like,
and the producer for who was he producing for?
He wasn't producing anybody, but he was connected to the industry somehow.
Okay.
But he's the one that knew about Bone Thugs being signed and coming out prior to their release. We didn't know anything about that. So we met up with him, and he ended up having like a studio in downtown San Diego. It's kind of where the ballpark's at right now. So if anybody remembers early 90s downtown San Diego, it was nothing nice. It was populated with homeless, drug addicts, hookers. The gas lamp, you guys know about gas lamp in San Diego. It was not a place to be in at night.
Right.
So we ended up going to this loft, and he was in this loft. We went, we were ready because it was 10 o'clock at night. We were strapped up. We went to go record music. And I remember walking in, and he had a legitimate studio, bro. He had like this loft. He had a little section off. He had a SP1200. He had Techniques. He had a keyboard. He had reels, Fostex reels.
Yeah.
He had all that stuff. So we're like, okay, cool. This dude's legit. So I had brought a beat that I wanted to make because my uncle Squeaky had records, he's gonna hear this for the first time. I used to go in his room and look at his records when he was at work. I used to dig for records and play them and like, oh, I want to put that song. So I record songs that I would want to remake or use parts of. So we get up there, and at this point, money came out of my pocket. I've been working towards this forever. I'm finally gonna get a tape in one of these mom and pop shops because that was my goal.
Of course, step one.
And we couldn't get nothing out. Couldn't get anything down. Somebody was having trouble with their lyrics. Next thing you know, somebody invites somebody else. There's like 20 people in there, and I'm trying to do work.
Right.
So I got frustrated, and I told him, I said, you know what? Hey, I'm done. You guys figure this out. So I cut out. We were gonna try to go back and do it the next day, right? Because I had to work the next day. I was trying to fund this project, right? So I remember we went back the next day, bro, and that dude bounced on us. I think we paid for his moving costs actually, bro, because we went to the same loft, knocked on the door, looked in the window, and it was a ghost town in there. So if the dude's listening, fuck you, because he did us dirty. I was what, 17?
And he just took some kids' money.
He took some kids' money that were gullible, didn't know the business, didn't sign a contract, didn't do any of that. We were just there on somebody's word, and he had ill intentions, and he took our music and bounced.
Wow.
I mean, we had a beat done. I'm pretty sure we had a couple verses done, and he took it and bounced, and it was empty. And we've never saw him again. That was 1992, 1993. So at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm done. I ain't rapping anymore. You guys could do whatever you want to do. I'm done with this. And they're like, what? No, I'm done, man. Because I was frustrated because I was taking it seriously.
Yeah.
And my perception of the crew was like, you guys ain't taking it seriously. We're writing lyrics to record, and you guys are going to parties and burning the lyrics, and everybody's knowing the lyrics. That's how I felt. That wasn't probably what really happened, but that's just my interpretation of the situation. So I was like, I'm done. I quit rapping. I ain't doing this shit no more. So at that point, negative behavior was over.
Okay.
I didn't see, and we partied though. We still partied together, but we were just
but as a group, it was
anymore.
Yeah.
And then the he said, she said shit started happening, and so and so said this about you, and so and so said about you, and I was like, I'm the kind of guy I just stay quiet until my opportunity comes.
Yes.
So I just stood quiet, and then it was like, all right, whatever. So certain situations happened between a couple individuals in the group, and I was like, all right, whatever. So it was probably, so that was 93, 94 rolls around, and I remember Brown said, hey, you never guess who I met at the mall today? And I'm like, who's that? He's like, oh, Madman. And I was like, who's that, bro? He's like, oh, that's the producer of Aztec Tribe. I mean, like Dagotown Aztec Tribe? He's like, no, they got a new record they're working on right now, bro. You should hear it. It's pretty sick. And I was like, all right. We got to meet him. I'm like, no, we don't. He's like, come on, man. You've been working. I'm not working. Dude, I'm done, dog. I'm over it. So what had happened is like about 6 months after they met him, Madman invited Brown to his birthday party. So Brown was like, hey, you want to go with me to Madman's house for his birthday? All right, cool. So Brown picked me up, and he had some girls in the car with him. And these girls were just talking up Aztec Tribe. Oh, so-and-so's this, and he's the best rap. And the whole time, bro, I didn't tell anybody that I rap. I didn't say shit. I was quiet. Oh, yeah, so-and-so's the best in Dago, and blah, 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 blah. We get to the party and just blah, 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 blah. It was irritating me. And they had the DJ booth. Then Aztec Tribe was about to rap. There was another dude named Chuco up there about to rap with them. And I said, hey, Brown, let's go. So I get up to the DJ booth, and I said, hey, can I bust? They're like, yeah, you're like fourth in line. Cool. So when the fourth in line came, I just like blah 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 blah, and I sat down. And I remember I picked up my 40, and the girl goes, "I didn't know you could rap." And I looked at her and I said, "You didn't ask." And I drank my 40. And then Clown from Aztec Tribe came up and said, "Hey, bro, you want to come back and bust?" Yeah, sure, let's go. So I went up there, and now it's battle time because it's every single one of those dudes up there that they're the quote unquote. They're the thing in Dago right now. Right. So I'm going to show them who I am. So I got up there and we freestyle battled, and they sat down one at a time, except for one dude, which is the dude Chuco. So he just got out of the pen. So he had penitentiary rap. So he had them memorized, and we were just going back and forth. Finally, they're like, hey, we got to cut this off because people want to dance. All right, cool. It was about 10 o'clock at that point. And I told Brown, hey, man, drop me off at the pad. He's like, why? I'm like, I'm done, dude.
Do you think anybody recorded that as far as?
No.
Okay.
Because this is like early '94. There was, if they did it, there was a big ass TV with a scope. No, I don't think they did.
Okay.
So Brown's like, you sure? Yeah, just drop me off at the pad. So he dropped me off at the pad because I wasn't driving. And he called me about 20 minutes later and he said, hey, that dude, that producer, he wants to meet you. I said, you serious? He's like, yeah, he wants to meet us. He wants to meet up with us on Tuesday. So it's a Saturday. I'm like, all right, cool, straight. Tell him we'll be there. So that following Tuesday, we go back to his house, and he had a nice little setup, bro.
Yeah.
He had a reel-to-reel, Fostex reel-to-reel, but then at that point he had just got A.DA machines.
Okay.
He was just starting to use A.DA. So I was like, okay, cool. He had a DAT machine for the mastering. He was doing some stuff on computer, but it wasn't like recording.
Right.
He had a EPS 16, the Ensoniq workstation, and I forgot what keyboard he had. So
for the people that may not know, ADATs are actually cassette VHS tapes.
Cassettes.
VHS cassettes. You probably each one was 8 tracks.
Yep,
so you had to have at least 3 of them.
Yep.
To 24 tracks, and then when you master to a DAT,
that was industry
digital audio
at that
tape.
point.
It's like a little.
It's like a Super 8 VHS tape
Yes.
in a camera.
Yeah. So I just like to sometimes educate people that may not know and let them know how hard we had it. Really.
Yeah, and reel to reel was like, it was like a projector, and it sucked because there was editing, you had a splice, and you only had 15 minutes.
Yes.
And you only had a couple takes on that.
And splicing with a razor blade
Yep.
and then put back with tape.
Yep. So we get in there, and he had a nice little setup. I'm like, cool. So I remember it was myself, it was Brown, it was Rudog from Master Tribe, it was 2 girls. It was 2 girls and Madman. And so he's talking to me. We're chopping it up, finding out what kind of music I like, because I listen to everything, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like the Beatles. I like Johnny Guitar Watson. I like Metallica. I like some Kenny G. I'll admit that on film. You know what I'm saying? Like, I listen to everything. Tower Power, Kenny Burrell, Wes Montgomery. I listen to
music is music.
I listen
bro.
to Faction. You know what I'm saying? I listen to everything. So he was like, whoa. And at that time, I'm a knucklehead.
Right.
I got cut off dickies. My socks are super high, bald head, white T-shirt. That's
Right.
just what I was. He's like, man, that's unique.
Right.
So he showed me this beat, and the beat was a Beatles sample. Lucy
Okay.
in the Sky with Diamonds, that beginning, down, 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 right? He had like another sample from Paris. I don't remember what the sample was in there, and he played the beat. And I was like, that's pretty dope, man. He's like, you think you could do something to that? And I was like, yeah. He goes, all right, well, come back next week. I go, why next week? I could do it right now. He's like, you got something for it? I go, yeah. So I got up in there, and I recorded the first song I ever recorded in a real studio. It was called Day in the Life of the GPA. And I did it in one take, and it was over and out and done. And I remember recording, because back then I used to just, I'm a little dude, but I projected. MC Ren was my shit, so MC Ren was very thick on the mic. So, and then it's a song just about a young Chicano struggling in San Diego.
Okay.
Right? The drama, the cops trying to kill you. My homie just got killed. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting in my room. You know, I'm staring at my painted wall, wondering if I make it through the day in the city at all. That was the opening lines. So it was a very emotional song for me. And I remember while I recorded, and Madman's and for those that don't know, Madman's in a wheelchair. He's a quadriplegic, right? Quad? And so he's like checking me out. The girls that were sitting there looking in the window in the booth, Rude Dog's like looking in the booth, and I was done. He was like, whoa. So he got the girls to sing the hook, and then was like, hey, man, I want to work with you. I'm like, sick. And the whole time Brown's like, yeah, motherfucking trick me, man. So I was back.
Okay.
And at that point, we started working on the Brown and GPA EP. So this was 94-ish. This was in 94.
Okay.
But I want to go back prior to that. The main thing that drew me to get to, the main thing that got me to get with Madman is that he was telling me who Madman was. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. He goes, hey, yeah, and Night Owl was working with Madman. Mm-hmm. And he was like, let's go check out his record. So that's the first time I met Night Owl. Uh-huh. And Night Owl paid me that first record, and I was like, oh, this dude's legit. Mm-hmm. So at that point, I was like, okay, maybe I can do something with this guy. This guy's serious. It's not like the guy that ripped us off, so let's go and work with him. Right. So that was kind of like the introduction to his music, because I hadn't heard any of the Astro Tribe stuff that he was working on because it wasn't released yet. So we went and did that, and after that, it was just like we're recording. So we did, for that EP, we recorded, it was Day in the Life of the GPA. It's Time That I Busted for the 9-5, True Players, and Strictly Rhyming for That Ass. That was a 4-track EP. And we recorded it probably within 6 months. And it was a hell of a ride, man. It was fun.
Now, and this was released?
This was released in 1995.
Okay, 1995, independently?
Yeah, because what happened was that Rudy from Master Tribe was like, hey, I can help you get this printed up at Discmaker.
Okay.
We get it printed up at Discmaker. I got the connection to all the, on Spin-Off Records and Fam Art, which are like the little moms and pops and indoor swap meets in San Diego, where I can get them all these spots.
Right.
Cool. So we printed up, and here's a funny story. So my grandfather has been always he played a big part of my life. Big example of a hardworking man.
Yes.
And I needed the money. I didn't have the cash up front. It was going to cost $2,200 to get the first initial print.
Wow.
So I went to my tata and I was like, I need to borrow money. He's like, for what? I said, well, I'm doing this music and I need to get it printed. And back then, disc makers would close in December. So you had to get everything in before this 2-week span because they would shut down for 2 weeks.
Correct.
So to get my release date the way I wanted it, I had to get it in right there and then. He's like, so what is it for, that rap crap? And I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, well, come back tomorrow and we'll talk about it. All right, cool, no problem. So I get back there the next day and my nana goes, hey, Tata's in the back waiting for you. All right, cool. And so I get back there and there's a wheelbarrow. There's a big ass stack of cement bags. He goes, hey, help me mix some cement. All right. Bro, I mixed 36 bags of cement that day. We built this shed. It's still there. We built this shed. 36 bags of cement. I didn't ask anything. I didn't say anything. I just did it. At the end of the day, he's like, you all done? I go, yeah, I think so. He goes, okay, I think you're done. Here. And he gave me an envelope with $2,200 in it.
That's awesome, man.
And I was like, thanks. I appreciate it. So I went, boom, and got the tape going. If it wasn't for me asking and getting, and I don't ask anybody for anything.
Right.
And I thought that having the ability to be able to do that, it wouldn't have happened.
Right.
So we printed up, I want to say we printed up like 2,200 to 300 copies of that.
Okay.
And we sold 2,200 in a month. We sold 2,200 copies in a month.
Let's push forward a little bit. It drops. What is the response on the streets?
So we did one thing on purpose because at that time when you would go into the record stores, everybody would have their face on the cover. Brown and I, being Chicano, and me being from Southeast San Diego, there was an expectation of what Southeast artists should be.
Right.
And I didn't want to put my face on there to get judged by my looks. I wanted somebody to be like, oh, that's a dope cover. Let me buy it. And then be like, oh, shit, this dude's Mexican.
Right.
So we didn't put our face on it. The month it went, people were buying it. And then it kind of went dead at that point. So then it was like, okay, let's street hustle. So we'll start putting it out. I would truly say I could sit here today and never had somebody come up to me and go, hey, your GPA, that Brown and GPA tape was dope. Not back then. At that point, my confidence hit an all-time low because it was like, I've just put out everything I had on this project that I think is some of the dopest work I ever done at the time.
Right.
And no one's feeling it. I didn't hear people driving down the street playing it. I heard them playing other San Diego rap because San Diego rap at that time was super big.
Yes.
And I didn't feel that it got listened to like it should have.
Right.
And it was like, okay, back to the drawing board. So we started working on that was an EP. So we decided to do a full album. That album we were going to call On the Creep. So we did probably like 6 or 7 songs of that. Mm-hmm. And I sent you some.
Yes.
And at that time, that's when I met Little One. So that's when I started learning about music business is when Little One got to the studio.
Yes.
So I remember the day that Little One was going to come to record in the studio, Reggie was like, hey, I got Little One coming to record. He's from this place and you're from that place. Is there going to be any problems? Like, nah, man, if he's cool, I'm cool.
Yeah.
And right off the top, bro, it was all love, you know?
Yeah.
But when Little One came, he came with a purpose. He came business-wise because he had a manager. He had somebody backing him. And the time he was starting to work with Reggie, the intention was that album was going to go to get shopped to Ruthless Records.
Okay.
So he was talking to Jerry Haller. He was like, oh, shit, he's talking to Jerry Haller. And it was like, okay, cool. And I sat and watched those recording sessions. I was probably the only one there almost every single time watching those recording sessions. and talking about having to get your game up. Because I thought I was the shit at that time in the studio. There was nobody, in my head, there was nobody fucking with me at that time like that. He gets in there and I was like, oh, damn. All right, well, I can't go on no little punk, so we have to come with it. But I watched the creation of that horrorcore rap that nobody was really doing at that time.
Yeah.
And it was amazing to watch those sessions because, one, the way him and Madman collaborated on beats and the ideas he came with and the way Madman was able to put it down, it was dope. Then on top of that, I said this on a couple podcasts that I interviewed him on ours, and I was like, bro, I never saw you write down a lyric at that time. Ever. He'd be like, hey, check out this rap I'm writing. And he would be building it in his head. Never a piece of paper, never a notebook. He came and spit it. So it was like, all right, I got to get my game up. So at the time he was recording Once in a Decade, we were recording On the Creep, and Aztec Tribe was recording Straight from the Zone.
Okay.
And there was a lot of creative stuff going on because it was like, we showed up and we're drinking and Aztec Tribe's recording, and we're showing up and drinking and Little One's recording and showing up and drinking and we're recording.
And about what year was this?
This was 95.
Okay, 95. I'm going to ask you a question because I'm going to interject here.
No doubt.
Press pause right there. Give me your best answers. Do you believe, well, let me ask you, where do you believe the Chicano Rap Foundation started? In LA or in San Diego?
San Diego.
Okay.
I honestly believe San Diego. And here's the thing, like, it wasn't Chicano rap then.
Right.
We were Dago rappers.
Okay.
That happened to be Chicano.
Okay.
And I would say that the Chicano label started after I had already left. I didn't really hear about Chicano rap until like 2002, 2003, 2004. And by that time, I was already out of the game.
And I have to agree with you on that. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, some of the most popular answers that fans give is that Chicano rap started here in LA. And I'll tell you what they told me, then you tell me what you know, okay, as far as San Diego rap or Chicano San Diego rap. Most people would say, because I had Murray Brunfield here, okay, he managed S.A. Rich Rock / Spanish Fly, okay. There's always been a debate who was out first, not who was out first, but who was first, either Frost or S.A. Rich Rock, Spanish Fly. I heard of Spanish Fly back in, I want to say 88. And I've heard of 18 with the Bullet before 1990, before La Raza came out. That's not the issue here. My thing is this. La Raza came out, was on a major label, was on major radio stations, okay?
MTV.
Yes, okay? He performed in the Apollo Theater, okay? So people say that he was the founder of Chicano rap on La Raza, 1990. Then, of course, Proper Dos, and I'm not naming them in order, but I'm just saying, and then you had Lighter Shade of Brown.
ALT, Latin Alliance.
Yes, then you had Brown Side, Toker,
Yep.
you know. So now, from 1990, you had Frost, La Raza. Did anything in San Diego come out in 1990 that you could say this was first?
I could say 88.
Okay.
Legion of Doom.
Okay. And now was that considered? Well, no. See, I can't even ask. Was that considered Chicano rap? Because
it wasn't.
We didn't even consider.
So it's perception, right?
Right.
It's perception because I remember when I saw Kid Frost on, when I was watching. That's the time I was watching Your TV Raps Heavy.
Yes.
I seen La Raza on there. I wasn't like, oh man, it's Chicano rap.
Right. Nobody did.
I was like, hell yeah, there's a Chicano. That's from the city my mom's from, and I know some of those places. That's dope. Lighter Shade of Brown comes out, and it's like, hell yeah, it's party music. Wasn't Chicano rap, right?
Right.
And then, as these other groups come out, I didn't see it as Chicano rap.
No, I don't, like again. I don't think nobody did. So.
Yeah. So I think because I think Legion of, in my opinion, I think Legion of Doom. Because I heard that first before I heard any of that other stuff.
Yes.
I think Legion of Doom's the one that started it.
Okay.
Honestly.
Okay.
And then as the 90s start to progress, then you have like Little Rob, you had Night Owl, Little One. Then these albums start hitting where Chicanos in San Diego were holding their own in San Diego lyrically, with music-wise, beat-wise. You know,
right.
There was very few that were fucking with us. So at that point, we were Dago rappers, but we were the Chicano Dago rappers. We were laying, and again, I don't consider myself a Chicano rapper.
Right.
Just because that's not where, it wasn't around when I was doing it.
Right.
Honestly, it wasn't.
Right.
After when I started seeing, like when I was off and then gone, and then when I started getting back, looking on the internet, and you start seeing Chicano rap this, Chicano rap that. Okay, so that's what we are. And then I started seeing my name put in that category because that's the crew I came up with.
Now, here, when I asked Murray Brunfield this question, I asked him, would you say Frost or Spanish Fly was the foundation of Chicano rap? Mm-hmm. He said this. Well, I believe we were first, but Frost being on a major label and having major radio play, mm-hmm. he was given that title. Okay, and cool. I mean, the song was dope. Nobody can deny that.
No.
Did San Diego have did they have music on the radio at that time? Like you said, Legion of Doom. Were they on a major label and on radio?
San Diego didn't get love like that.
Okay.
It was very rare that you would hear a San Diego artist. I want to say Shadow was probably the one that got played the most on rotation.
Yeah, and he had a great story when he shared how his song got put on. So
I got
now,
a funny story about that too.
And when he played, so let's just say Shadow. When did we start hearing Little Rob? Because that was the first guy.
Little Rob was like 91, 92.
Okay, because honestly, I didn't hear of Little Rob till like 94 on the radio.
Yeah. Little Rob wasn't on the radio, but like if you go to San Diego Car Show, he was there.
Okay.
There was Little Rob. There was a group called EMP.
Okay.
There was Without a Warning. They're Chicano from South San Diego as well.
Okay.
They're at every car show in San Diego that would come out. They were opening for whoever.
Now, when I started seeing, again, this is just me.
Yeah.
Working with like Slow Pain, Rest in Peace, Frost, Nino Brown, AOT, my boy G from Lawless Click, JV, was around 96, 97, 98. Mm-hmm. And I was working, producing Mellow Mayonnaise. That's when I started hearing a lot more of San Diego rap. Mm-hmm. Okay. LA guys might get upset what I'm about to say, but I think, just my opinion, okay? From 96, 97, I think it all transferred over to San Diego. Mm-hmm. I think we had more, and for the sake of the conversation, I'll say Chicano rap. Chicano rap, the torch was passed. That's just me.
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay, it was passed to San Diego. Because I would be in the studio with all these guys and they would be talking about, oh, Shadow, oh, Little One, oh, this, oh, that, So they kind of knew that there was a threat, Yeah. Now, comes 2000, everybody's Chicano rap.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, that's when I say when I think because I don't know, that it went like this. Something that I thought was beautiful started in 88, 90, was on the radio, and it wasn't labeled.
Yeah.
As soon as it got labeled, I thought it kind of went.
Yeah, my perception is a little different.
Okay.
Because during 91 to 2000,
yes,
I was focused on my projects, focused on my music. I wasn't buying a lot of music.
Yeah.
And if I was, it wasn't San Diego music I was buying. I was buying like Bay Area music. I'm heavy on Bay Area rap.
Yeah.
Bad Influence, Too Short, and Banks, Spice One. I saw the Spice One episode. I was like, dude. AKA Mr. Kill Your Ass. That's my favorite
the
line.
Bushwick Bill stories, bro.
Yeah, and so like I fucked with that a lot.
Yeah. Digital Underground.
Digital Underground, Brother Lynch Hung, SIBO, X-Rated,
Rapping Forte.
Rapping Forte, before and after he got out of the pen. You know what I mean? The Dangerous Crew album was a great album.
Let me put you on the spot real
RBL
fast.
Posse, you know what I'm saying? RBL Posse.
Let me put you on the spot real quick. Did San Diego rappers ever listen to Dark Room Familia? Well, no, San Diego fan base, or should I say the fans?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Not that I know of. I didn't even know about them until after I was already out of the game.
Okay. The reason why I asked is because obviously I've interviewed David Rocha here, pastor now, and we talked and he told me a lot of my records sold in LA. A lot. I've had rappers that have sat on your chair right there and have told me, hey, I will never admit this online, but I used to listen to Darkroom Familia a lot.
Yeah, I never did. Yeah. It was mostly like, because I like funk. I grew up around funk.
Of course.
And Bay Area is the home of funk, in my opinion. You
Okay.
got Tower Power, you got Sly and the Family Stone.
What about Detroit?
I mean, for me, that's Oakland. That's where my
All good.
the funk roots came from. You know, Larry Graham Sensor Station.
Yes.
Like all that is.
I sampled that for Leave My Curls Alone.
Right. We just talked about that, but that's kind of like I drew because they were the funk.
Right.
So it was like I'm working with these group of people. We're working on this. I'm buying this. I'm getting a little bit here, a little bit of here. I wasn't really watching TV at the time. I wasn't really looking in record stores other than, I'm going to get this album. I was more like on the underground shit at that time. Anything underground I was trying to get, like, what was it? Doomsday Productions from Vegas.
Okay.
They were on Black Market Records with Brother Lynch. KD from the Lynch Mob. Ask Cash the Grass. You know, that kind of, that underground, like, what was it? Was it Goldie from the Dangerous Crew put an album out? I was looking to like the underdogs. I was
Right.
that's what I was trying to support were the underdogs, local
Right.
San Diego rappers. So to tell you that it started in San Diego, that's just because that's my perception.
I understand.
I seen Legion of Doom do it first. They're speaking Spanish on the mic on their song without a warning. Yeah, that's
And you know
for
what?
me, that's where it started.
I'm glad that you brought that up. And I'm going to tell you why. Because in 1988, I heard a song called Mas Pincon, released on Delicious by Mellow Mayonnaise.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Cuando entro a la casa, esto es lo que pasa, empiezo a gozar con toda la raza. That was the first time I ever heard the word raza on a song. Even before La Raza in 90. So I always give him credit for that, and I'll still continue to give him credit because you know what? He earned that. That's what he spit. Okay?
Yeah.
But you're telling me now that in 19...
Yeah,
you know,
but it wasn't like full verses. They were saying
Right.
little
Spanglish.
little Spanglish stuff because they're right there. They're in a border town.
Right.
So they're that's what it is. You know.
Okay,
that was the draw in for me.
Okay, you know, or at least you heard that I'm filming a Chicano rap documentary. See, these are the questions that I ask, and in some point or another, I'm going to have a little somewhat friendly debate. You know, I'm going to have people. Why did you think San Diego? Why did you think LA? Because outside of LA and San Diego, nobody else is claiming they're the foundation.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm asking you live, would you be in the Chicano rap documentary?
Yeah, sure.
You guys heard him here. He said it.
Yeah.
Okay, so rewind it. Okay.
But I will say this though too.
Yes.
Aside from the ones that did it
Yeah.
before that, knowing that Brownside was signed to Ruthless Records gave me a chance in my heart that one day I could get signed by Ruthless Records, which would have been awesome. That would have been a dream come true for me.
Right.
Because Easy knew that Chicanos on the mic, whether it was San Diego, LA, whatever, we were putting it down.
Absolutely.
And he had a vision for that, and unfortunately it didn't come to fruition.
You know, I'm not going to say too much. And hopefully somehow this is mentioned in the documentary. If not, somehow I will mention it in mine. And this was told to me by a close person, and hopefully I can get this person in the Chicano rap documentary to kind of confirm what I'm about to tell you. Towards the end of Easy's death, I knew that Easy trusted Chicanos more than anybody. That's why he was leaning more towards, I'm going to push and sign them, okay? And Easy told this person this and said, if anything happens to me, I know Raza, Chicanos will riot for me. Because you know what? We loved them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We loved it. When you walk into my front door, what do you see on top?
Oh, yeah, Easy's Memorial Source.
Yes. Yeah, Easy E.
Yeah.
Okay. So he knew where it was going. Sad thing is that he didn't live, man.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You know, he didn't live, and he could have opened doors, but you know what? And even though I thank him for that, we just need to move forward and continue to open our own doors.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why platforms like this are made.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but
And then for me, like going back to how you said you heard Mellow Mayonnaise,
right.
The first person I ever heard rap anything in Spanish, like for a prolonged period of time, was Night Owl. Night Owl had first Spanish songs that I ever heard. So I like I said, it was my scope was very
Right.
small.
Well, see, and that is what would make a great documentary, is somewhat of a friendly debate where we can actually speak on these things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, but look, man, San Diego's dope and LA's dope.
Yep.
So, and if there was unity, which I believe there is to a certain extent, and come together and make songs like we have been throughout the years, it would just be awesome, man.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of calling it San Diego, LA, Cali.
Yeah, Cali rap.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Cali rap.
Cali rap.
So, but now, I know I interjected, but continue. I don't know if you're...
So we were working, all three of us were working on stuff at that time. Like I said, little one came in business. He was business, but he also came in creating something.
Yes.
So we were all working on that time. Now there was a song that him and the Astor Tribe did that did get played heavily on the radio in San Diego, which is a song called Everybody Bounce.
Okay.
And that song was dope. So it was there. Unfortunately, situations happen, and that's not my story to tell.
Right.
But situations happen where our group, our crew, it got shattered and it got stopped.
Okay.
I can only speak on Brown and GPA. I can't speak on the other situations because that's their story to tell.
Yes.
Not mine. We were told, hey, with everything going on right now, it's probably best that you guys just like don't come around for a little bit. Right? And I get it. Now in the hindsight, I understand. There was a lot of tension.
Yes.
Right? So me being an immature 18, 19-year-old kid,
yes,
I was like, all right, I quit. Told Brown I'm done. And what? My second time I quit. I'm done. Why? Where am I going to go record, bro?
Yeah.
I was going there every day, not only just to record, but to soak up game. I'd be up there behind the boards looking how he does that, and hey, let me help you here. Okay, let me do that. Let me get this chord for you. That's my shit.
I mean, you're a student of this.
Yeah, that's my shit, right? So at that point, I was like, I'm done. I had nothing else to go back to other than the street.
Yes.
So at that point, I just kind of became not a recluse, but I just kind of pulled myself back from music, where I didn't talk to anybody, and I started hanging back with my old homies, right? And then I started getting involved with drugs again, because I got involved with drugs at an early age, and during the time I was doing my music, I wasn't doing it. I wasn't on the street. I was focusing on my craft, right?
Yes.
So I started getting in drugs again, and then just being the immature me, like Madman had reached out to me multiple times just to see what's up, how I was doing. He might even been inviting me back to the studio, and I wouldn't take his calls. I'm like, I'm through with that. That ain't me no more, right? So my life at that point became very, very toxic, and the crew, like, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you a story that I was a big gangster, because that's not me.
Of course.
But I had friends that were gangsters. I have friends that have been murdered. I have friends that murdered people. I have friends that have been to jail. I got friends that are doing all day. I got friends that were hustlers, that were gangsters, and these are guys that I grew up with.
Right, you were in the mix.
I was in the mix. Now, I'm not going to say that I was the downest fool in there, because that's not true. But if shit came down, I can't run.
Of course.
I gotta be here.
You a man.
Yeah, because if not, my nana would slap the shit out of me, bro. You know what I'm saying?
She was gangster.
She was gangster, but I couldn't do that. So that's where I got a lot of the during my time was just that I was speaking for them. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the songs that said, I got it from the hustlers, pimps, hustlers from the pen, or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what I did. And it was a circle of friends that I got. And now, like, my aunt tells me all the time, like, that circle of friends is gone now. I think I only have maybe like 2 or 3 left. Because either they're deceased. Like, a lot of them are
dead
not here
or
anymore.
in jail.
And so I got into a very bad spot. And then I was getting, like, threatening pager messages on my pager. And I was like, who the hell
well,
is
you
this,
had to turn
bro?
that upside down to
Yeah, it was like 187. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I just had it. And in my twisted head, I was like, okay, this is the dudes we're beefing with.
Yeah.
It was probably, so that was like 96 where everything happened. Not until like summer of 97, I get a random phone call from Little. Little one was like, hey, you want to get on this track? And I was like, nah, I don't rap anymore, dog. Come on, man, just get on the track. All right. So it was a song that we did called 666. And it was a diss track. And that's the first time that I met Steve Vicious. And Steve Vicious, for me growing up, was one of those dudes in the early 93, 94 that I always wanted to work with. I got like a couple people that I would always love to work. I always wanted to work with.
Yeah.
Steve Vicious was one of them.
Okay.
And so now it's like, oh shit, I'm going to Steve Vicious's house.
Yeah.
VMF. You know, if people know VMF's story. VMF produced songs for MC Hammer on the Sultry Funk album. He came out in a video on MTV with them. You know, saying he was like Vicious Man Funk, Dago Town represent. And we felt like we won. Like, hey, someone from Dago is on MTV next to MC Hammer.
That's dope, bro.
Right? So I was like, this is the dude.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right. So we wrote it. And my mentality at that point was like, I got to come with it.
Yeah.
And so I did the best that I could. And I always remember this, and I tell this story. When I was rapping, I would always see the back of Vicious's head because he'd be at the computer and the mic was on the outside. And there's one the line that I said, "Hey little, let me know when to press the button so I can blow the ass away." And the whole time, every time I did that, he was like, "You like that?" And I just came with it and I spit it, and then it was dope. And then so we landed performing that at a car show. And at the time, Shadow and I weren't talking. We had our differences.
Yeah.
And Shadow. So here's the funny story about Shadow. Before I get to that one. So I remember hearing on the radio, San Diego's own Mr. Shadow performing at such and such. I was like, Mr. Shadow. And I kept hearing it, and then I heard the song, and I was like, man, that sounds like Shadow. So I called up Brown one day. I'm like, hey, bro, like, is the Shadow they're talking about on the radio like Shadow? He's like, yeah. I'm like, this dude. All right, cool. So anyways, we ended up meeting up at this car show, and Little played it perfect. He was like, hey, GPA Shadow, Shadow GPA, and he walked away. So me and Shadow went to handle what we needed to handle as men and our differences.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, let's do a song. So I came in again to Steve Vicious's house, and that's when we did that song, Negative Behavior, which is probably the song that you heard.
Yeah, yes, that one.
You're talking, I'm gunning, I got you running, that one?
Fuck, bro.
Yeah.
When you busted that shit was like right, like a metronome. That shit was right on,
so
bro.
my wife hates that song.
Why?
Because I played that song 24 hours a day for 3 days straight, literally. And that's because when I was going into that studio, Shadow was the hot shit in San Diego because he was getting played on the radio.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was going to be featured on his second album.
Okay.
And I had to come with it.
By the way, that was a dope cover, though.
Yeah.
That was a dope cover. So Shadow, if you're watching, I don't know whose idea was, that was a dope cover.
So I had to bring it. And so it took me 3 days to write that. We'd call back and forth. Oh, what'd you write? Oh, man, okay.
Can you spit one of those?
Probably. You talking, I'm gunning, I got you running, ain't telling me nothing to know when I'm coming in. Will it be dumping or will it be scrapping? Whatever it is, you know what it happens. That's the one.
That one right there, man.
Yeah. So I came with it. But that's the other thing too, like, so I'm digressing a little bit. Let's go back. Going back to the Madman, Little Ones Once in a Decade album is a classic. And I was asked to feature on that.
Okay.
On that album. I'm the only feature aside from the singers. I'm the only rap feature on that album.
Right.
So that album I knew was going to go to be heard by people. So I had to bring it on that one, and I tongue twisted it on that one. I just don't remember what the tongue twist was at the time, but I tongue twisted on that one because I knew I was pretty good at it at that time.
Yeah.
So I did on that one. And then Shadows, we fed off each other really good on that song. I came tongue twisting out the gate, and then he picked it up, and then I tongue twisted. And then was it what was it said? Smoke a bow, fuck these hoes. And then he's like, let me take a hit of the shit that's making a motherfucking trip. And we relayed off it. So it was a good album. That was the second time I worked with Vicious.
Yeah.
And then Shadow, myself, and Little, we did another diss track, and that's called Shaking in Your Boots. And then that one was all of us together working together, and I had to bring it because these are the two biggest San Diego rappers at the time. Two of the biggest San Diego rappers at the time. I ain't nobody. Let me write this shit and make it happen. And that song came out pretty good. I was a little vulgar because I that's just kind of the dude I was. If I had to say something, I didn't get the chance to see you, so I'm gonna say it now. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of the best songs that we did together. And at that point, my homie that was with me, that I met through a mutual friend, he approached Vicious and said, hey, what's it going to cost to start an album for this guy? And he was like, oh, this, and that. All right, cool. Put down money, and Hard Times started at that point.
So, you know what? We can keep going on and on and on and on, bro. You're going to have to come back for part 2.
No doubt.
Okay. So, we got a couple of more minutes. Fuck, I don't want to end. But you know what? I'll tell you what. Let's, I read your bio, the one you sent me, okay?
Yeah, I didn't write it. Somebody else did.
No, I understand. but it said that you were known more for like music that was unreleased that was released.
Yeah.
Can you kind of explain that? Like,
so the Brown and GPA album, or the EP, had 4 tracks.
Okay.
We started recording the full album, which is on the Creep.
Yes.
And that never got released. So I think in existence right now, I think there's only 5 songs from that album.
Okay.
There was anticipation for that album because two of the songs I did one song called Southeast Side, and then Brown did a song called Booming in the Ride. I sang the hook on that song.
No shit.
Yeah, and both of those songs were total opposite of whatever everybody else is doing in the studio. We did a skit at the beginning of Southeast Side, and they're like, oh shit. And it was funny. Here's a funny story about that song. One day I show up at Madman's house, and he's going through his A.DAs, and he's erasing stuff. I don't like that. And then I heard this beat, and it was a small sample of Real Motherfucking G's. And I was like, hey man, play that back. He's like, man, I don't like this shit. I was like, bro, that shit's hard. Get an 808 drum. Let's put the 808 drum on there. So the entire song doesn't have a bass line. It's a beat, a couple of the Moog whistles, and that's it. We got this girl named Rachel Miranda. Shout out to Rachel in Arizona. She's a badass singer. Nobody could get her to sing on the song. Reggie got her to sing on that song. So she sings the hook and does the ad-libs for that song, and it was bad. I wrote the song sitting down listening to the track, and that song ended up being like, it almost got played on the radio. The thing that sucks is that they announced us to get played on the radio, the whole 9. And at that point, that was the first time we had burnt CDs. Yeah. So the CDs, check this out. So the CD burner was 10 grand, and the CD to burn on was $50. Not every CD player back then would play it. So we went to the radio station, they announced it, they went to play it, and it wouldn't read it, so we didn't get played on the radio.
Wow.
Like that's the thing with my career, dude. It's like every time that we got just that close, it just didn't happen. All right, cool, whatever. And then the Booming in the Ride song, Brown was like, oh, you spit it. He was trying to sing the hook. I'm like, that's how you do it. He goes, well, if you think you do better, you do better. All right, let's do it. And I did it. Those 2 songs on that album, they hit somehow, some way. Somebody got a dub of a dub of a dub, and they put it on YouTube, and people love those 2 songs.
Wow.
And then, so Hard Times is my only real solo release album. That was on Ghost Town Entertainment. Shout out to Aaron, and shout out to the homie OG Sanch. And after that album, we started working on OG Sanch's album, Taxation Upon Representation. So we wanted to get his release done. That's a classic album. That album's right now on Discogs. I think they're asking like $500 for that. That's another rare CD. After his, I started working on this album called Street Poetry.
Yes.
Now, Hard Times was a very angry, drug-induced album. I was high as fuck. It just had a lot of anger in me. Anybody that I could think of dissing, I was dissing the shit out of them. I was showing my lyrical skills, whatever. Hard Times was a soul-searching album.
Okay.
Because Hard Times, I was trying to get clean off drugs. I was trying to be a father because I had just had my daughter during the Hard Times album. Just had my daughter.
Yes.
I just had my oldest son. I'm trying to do shows. I'm trying to work. I'm trying to record. And I'm trying to stay clean. And it took it.
Yeah.
So that one's a deep album. That never got released because after I showed Omar today, like, this is the last song I ever recorded on it. I didn't even put a hook on it. I called my homie, hey, I'm done. And I didn't listen to music for the next 5 years.
Wow.
I walked away.
Wow. Let me ask you a question, okay? And these are not in order. I'm going to give you the 3 most popular Chicano rappers from, again, for the sake of the conversation, we'll call them Chicano rappers. Even though back then it wasn't called Chicano rap. The 3 most popular, just popular, okay? Not the most sales or most radio play, just most popular Chicano rappers from LA. And then I want you to give me the 3 most popular Chicano rappers from San Diego. By popular demand, it's been Frost, okay? And this is not in order. Frost, Proper Dos, Brownside. Even though I had Clever here, Toker's brother, and he said, my brother never considered himself Chicano rap. But once again, for the sake of the conversation, those are the 3 most. Frost, Proper Dos, Brownside. Who would you say the most popular? I'm not saying the best, but popular San Diego, the top 3.
When they talk about just San Diego in general?
Yeah, San Diego in general.
I'm going to say Little, Shadow, and Ido.
Now, when you say Little, which one?
Little one.
Okay. So you wouldn't even include Little Rob?
I honestly, I never listened to a Little Rob song.
Really?
No.
Okay.
Never have.
See, like, once again, I could probably name you like 3 Little Rob songs. And that's because I've heard them before on the radio and stuff like that, okay? But he was actually the first Chicano, well, no, let's leave Chicano thing out of it. The first rapper on the radio from San Diego that I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
So to me, I would have to say that I would have to include him in it, but I'm not from San Diego. But you told me Little One, Shadow.
Yeah, because when everybody talks about San Diego, that's the 3 they talk about when it comes to Mexican rappers.
See, that's crazy, bro, because at least when I ask people, they always say Little Rob #1.
Yeah. But like I said, I can't speak on it.
Of course. Now, I guarantee you that if I ask somebody maybe in San Diego from LA, they'll say Frost.
Yeah.
You know, and I get that. But a lot of people say, Little Rob.
Yeah, I would say Frost, lighter shade of brown, and brown side.
Frost, lighter shade. Yeah, see, we have at least 2.
Yeah, because I fucked with lighter shade of brown pretty heavy as a 17-year-old kid at parties.
They were dope, bro.
Yeah.
You know what, man?
Hey, DJ, just play that song. Yeah, that was a party jam right there.
Our second show, ever. Our first show was crazy enough. We were in Arizona and we did it with King T.
Okay.
That was our first show. And you know what? I'm a hoarder. I still have the flyer. Okay. And then our second show was at a car show for a guy named Johnny Lazoya out in Arizona. And I want to say Tempe, Arizona. And Lighter Shade of Brown performed there. So I got to tour with those guys throughout the 90s. Fun times, bro. Rest in peace to Bobby. I wish he was still here.
Yeah.
Definitely. But now, other than that, like I said, we could keep going on and on and on. And there were things that we talked about on the phone that we haven't even touched.
No, we haven't touched. It's just a little bit of my childhood, and I'm not even done with the music career because there's all other stories to talk about that. Why I walked away.
Yeah, I know, bro. You know what? And I don't want to cheat the fans, but here's what I want to say. Would you be willing to come back?
Yeah, it has to. You know my schedule.
Of course,
so I got other commitments that I have to.
Of course,
I have to do first. But yeah, definitely.
Okay. Other than that, man, anything I didn't ask you, anything you want to cover, anything you want to share, still, I'll make time, bro. I'll make time right now.
No, we can keep them hanging. We do a cliffhanger.
I know, but I almost feel like I'm leaving them hanging. So,
hey, they're lucky they got me on camera right now. Honestly,
you guys hear that? Okay, I'm gonna ask you this: why don't you hardly ever take pictures? Because I asked you, send me 2 pictures, and you go, this one and this one. I go, dude, that's the album cover. Then you go, no, there's a reason why I don't take pictures.
Yeah.
Can you share that, please?
So there's 2 reasons.
Okay.
One reason I read somewhere as a young kid that I want to say Native Americans didn't like taking pictures because they thought that their soul would be taken when they would take a picture of them because they weren't aware of what was happening.
Well, a lot of artists have already sold their soul, so that doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Right. So, but at that point, it was like, I don't want nobody taking my soul. I was a young kid. As I got older, though, I didn't like how I looked on camera. Never felt comfortable with it.
Okay.
So I would rather just not take a picture, call it a day. So if you see like family gatherings and they're about to take a picture, I walk over that way. And I come on, and you can see like an eye or a forehead. I don't feel comfortable on camera. Never have.
Okay.
That's just what it is.
Okay, now I might be embarrassing myself, but I have to ask you this: is there any videos of you out there?
Nope, not that I know of. I know I got pictures of me performing, but you see my head.
No, I'm talking about visuals, like of your song. You're like,
never did it. Never did it. Well, back then to record a video, it would cost $30,000.
Of course.
I didn't have $30,000.
Okay. Say that again to this younger generation, bro.
Back then, which camera am I looking at here? Where's the light?
It doesn't matter. The
back
middle one.
then, it cost $30,000 to do a video. It wasn't cheap.
It wasn't fucking cheap.
And there was no cell phones with video. There were cell phones, but not with a video.
Our first single, I'm Not Your
Thank
Puppet,
God.
came out in 1990. And we paid a guy named Ian Fletcher from Australia to come down. And he did a cheap job for $25,000, bro. And that motherfucker was a nasty ass black and white looking video, looked like a Godzilla movie. Like that shit was whack.
Served its purpose though.
But you know what? That was all we had.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, but you know what? It made the old MTV Raps.
Right.
It got on BET.
Right.
It was on the box.
Oh, the box. I remember that.
How many of y'all can say that?
So they had that on rotation there. 2 Live Crew.
Yeah, bro. So, okay. Last question, and then we're out of here. And then me and you will talk during the week when we can set up a part 2. Cool?
Okay. I want to give you something before that too, though. But
Okay, cool. Hey, do me a favor. Bring me that 12-inch right there.
Omar, hand me that shirt right there.
Por favor. Oh, over here. Come over here. Watch.
Omar, hand me that shirt right there.
Thank you. Okay, everybody. I want to say this. He hit me up and he asked me, do I have any Leave My Curls Alone 12-inch? And I said, I think I have one. But I thought you were talking about my album because I only have one album. He brought me a High C 12-inch promo copy. Promotional copy. I mean, it's for DJs only. Radio station shit. Of Leave My Curls Alone. Something I don't even have. And this is like vinyl. Okay? So I can touch it because I'm a real DJ. Mm-hmm. So, but yes, thank you for that, man. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. And, fuck, dude. This interview brought me back a lot of old school memories. I love that shit, bro.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I'm going to quote Mr. Cartoon. He said, what did he say? Like talking about the nostalgic thing. He said, I'm so old, I'm back in style.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, like, you keep old clothes and eventually it'll come back in style.
Yeah.
He says, I'm so old, I'm back in style.
Yeah, I mean, like I was telling you earlier, like I felt that the Hard Times reception and Brown and GPA music didn't get shine.
Yes.
Until YouTube, social media, MySpace.
And thank God for that.
Hitting, I was like, man, actually people like it.
You finally got the responses pretty much that you were looking for.
At that point, it was like, oh, cool, too late.
I know that. But motherfuckers probably didn't want to give you the credit because they were fucking probably hating on you.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. Like, at the end of the day, dog, like, I would just be me and do me. And
let me ask you this. Say I'm a rapper, okay, and I hear you spit. It's not going to hurt me any to be able to walk up to you and say, you're fucking dope, bro. Mm-hmm. But a ego fucking maniac would be like, oh, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
I'm better.
I mean, I heard it from my inner circle.
Right.
But not a lot from strangers. And I think a lot of had to play the part too was like, they didn't know who I was.
Okay.
Like, which one's GPA?
Yeah.
Like, and that always played in my favor, though. I'm telling you, it always played in my favor.
Have you ever been called like JMP?
No.
I had a guy named, we got Tommy A coming up to the turntable. Like,
Tommy A.
What the fuck you talking about, bro?
I never think I ever have. This is like great point average. Well, I do get the dots in the name. The period is a name, and that's not what it is. Don't put no dots because I don't stop. I mean, like, there's no.
Okay. Don't put no dots because you don't stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what it is.
Continue, brother. This is my third shot, by the way.
I want to give you this. This is from my homie Huicho Flores. So he has a school scholarship called DALAGA Scholarship.
No shit.
So what this is, Huicho Flores is a good cool dude. He's a high school. He's a school counselor.
Yeah.
He had he's from the hood, and so what he does, he has a scholarship that he raises money to help kids, not the rock star students, but the middle people that get forgotten, to raise school supplies, give them a little money to buy their books.
Number 2 pencils,
notepads, because all of us know that if you're not, excelling at academics and in the middle tier, you kind of get forgotten about. So what he's trying to do, he's trying to drive people to raise money to help kids to get secondary education. It doesn't mean college, but it's maybe a trade school.
Right.
Maybe some kind of, ROP classes.
Yeah.
It helps him.
It's some type of encouragement.
Yes, definitely. So he wanted me to give you that.
Okay. Well,
he's also doing the vinyl. He's doing a vinyl-thon. When Joni was on here, she mentioned Huicho about his vinyl-thon. That's going to be August 21st at the shop in Logan. Huicho Flores.
Okay, Huicho, check this out. I'm going to sport this Tuesday.
No doubt.
I'm going to sport this Tuesday. So we're going to go ahead and go with that.
Yeah. And then I also want to shout out the select baseball clubs, my son's travel ball team.
Yes.
Thanks to all the coaches. We had 2 kids today. They played up here, I think in LA somewhere. They're in the playoffs for the Little League World Series.
Right.
Liam Lee and Nico Sanchez, man, they won via walk-off. So I think they're going to the next round. So they're getting closer to playing the Little League World Series. So that's pretty dope.
That's dope.
I also shout out to the Esquina Vintage and Coffee crew. Every third Thursday we go and play vinyl at the coffee shop.
Yeah.
Anybody can come. You bring your records and, hey, all right, put your name on the list. You can jump on and play records and hang out, have some coffee, and lowriders show up and people hang out.
That'll work, man. You know, there's 3 people that I want to mention that come to mind when I think about San Diego. And I'm going to be real with you. Other than yourself, bro. Other than yourself. I want to give a shout out to Joni.
Yep.
Who came over here. I'm going to bring her back eventually.
Yeah, she got an awesome story, man.
Yes. So, Joni, much love, much respect to you. Also want to give a shout out to my boy Alonso for connecting us. He's been a real one since day one. And I also want to give a shout out to a guy that was introduced to me by Little One and Shadow. It's Panther.
I don't know him that well.
Okay.
I know who he is, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
I interviewed him here, so much love, much respect to Panther. He reached out to me, told me whenever you're in San Diego, let's go eat somewhere or whatnot. But whenever I'm in San Diego, I'm going to hit you up.
Yeah,
Come in, I'm going to say, let's go eat some mariscos.
Yeah, no
That's
doubt.
what I want to eat.
All right, cool.
Okay.
I'm going to take you to a spot that's not really beautiful, but it tastes good.
I don't give a shit. A hole in the wall is probably usually the best.
They're the best, yeah.
Okay. So other than that, San Diego, much love, much respect to you guys.
I do want to say something else
Yeah,
real
go for it,
quick.
go for it.
So shout out to my homie ALR. I'm also doing a podcast currently. It's called the ALR GPA podcast.
Say that again so they could look it up.
So I'm on a podcast called the ALR GPA podcast. It comes out every Sunday morning. It's pre-recorded. We've had a bunch of different types of guests. We talk about music, talk about life, talk about mental health. The last one was a person that we interviewed about mental health.
Okay.
Yeah, we talk about everything, man. We even talk about sports, baseball, talk shit. It's a good time, man. So that's what I've been doing.
I love sports, bro. So if you ever welcome a guy like me, from Wilmington,
No doubt. No doubt.
I'm down to talk sports.
Good stuff, man. Thanks for having me, man.
No, man. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being real with me, bro. Honestly, if there's anything that I want to thank you for, is thank you for being real with me and for allowing me to at least speak to you and apologize to you and forgiving me for, for my nonsense when I took somebody's advice and you only had one song.
Yeah, I'm down to earth guy, dude. Like I'm not boastful. I like I said, for the most part, until I guess you get me in front of a mic and lights, I'm a quiet guy. I don't have anything to promote. My life isn't rap music anymore.
Right.
I've been away from it for a very long time.
Right.
I appreciate everybody's love and support of keeping that GPA name alive. My kids love it. They trip out on it. They're probably watching right now. Shout out to my wife and my kids watching at home.
Daddy, you a rap star.
Yeah, man. And the legend thing, I don't see myself in that category. There's bodies of work that they've done. Like here's the thing. Here's why. I'm gonna put it out here.
Yes.
Here's why I don't call myself a legend.
Okay.
Because I was lazy.
So lazy legend?
I didn't maybe or lazing. I didn't have the
lazing.
hustle. I didn't have the hustle like everybody else did.
No, you did. But there were times where you just stopped.
Yeah, well, I had other
You
shit.
did.
I had other shit going on.
I
man.
get it. So did I. I quit rap like 3 times, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck you guys, but I'm still going to work.
Yeah. Well, I'm working, but it's just not music.
So yeah, man. You know who I also want to give a big shout out to? Some dude from Brooklyn.
Oh yeah.
Jay Bliss.
Jay Bliss putting himself out here right now.
Jay Bliss in
Shout
the
out,
motherfucking
man.
building.
Nothing but love, bro.
Yeah, nothing but love.
Cool
You
peeps.
guys ever go to Brooklyn? Hit up Jay Bliss. Ecuadorian food.
I heard the Nets are gonna have was it preseason or training camp in San Diego at the. That's what I seen. I seen the meme.
Well, by the way, the Dallas Cowboys are back in Oxnard, so I'll be back in Oxnard soon. So here we go with the Raiders. So, anyways, everybody, let me give my shout outs to once again GPA San Diego in the motherfucking building. Also, let me give a shout out to Jay Bliss Brooklyn in the motherfucking building. To my boy Alex Cervantes Enterprise. If you got a beat up hoopty and it needs to be fixed, hit him up. He will hook you up. Look him up in the description. And my boy, give me your name, bro. Omar from San Diego. Much love, much respect. Big dog, give me your name.
Nick.
Nick from
Brooklyn.
From Brooklyn. Once again, Brooklyn is in the motherfucking house. So whenever you go to Brooklyn, hit up, Jay Bliss. So whenever you think of trash, think of Hakeem. So. What movie was that from?
Do the right thing, right?
Coming to America.
Oh, Coming to America. I was thinking about Radio Raheem.
Yeah, Radio Raheem, huh?
Radio Raheem.
So other than that, hey, you know what?
They were in
Tuesday,
Queens.
Yeah.
Coming to America, they were in Queens.
Yes, exactly, Queens. Yo, Tuesday, 2 special guests. Wednesday, 2 special guests, and then Friday, Freaky Tales, not cocktails, Those freakadeels. So we'll be back. All right, brother. You stay blessed.
You too.
And we'll see you guys. San Diego, much love. Brooklyn, much love. If you can read lips, we're good. We're out of here.
Peace.